of the USCSS Valkyrie's engine resonates throughout the hull of the ship. A low, almost dulcet tone seems omnipresent throughout the entirety of it. Against the abyssal backdrop, the ship is almost insignificant, dwarfed by the endless ocean of black that stretches beyond light's reach. A scape devoid of life, hollow and empty. Some revere its existence. Others cower in fear at the void. Others contemplate the life that almost certainly exists behind the starlit canvas. Life forged by the cold, brutal nature of space. A series of blinking lights and the soft whir of a mechanical fan sand out within the hollow shell of the Valkyrie as the bridge dashboard comes online. The dim hallway lights illuminate the faded white padding of the crew quarters, the mess hall, the bridge. The hiss, the 4 sleep chambers in cryo open, pouring white mist over their sides, a mist that is lost to the air before ever touching the floor. The crew rises slowly, moving about their surroundings, remembering where they are, who they are, the effects of hypersleep causing even the sharpest minds to run at half speed. Their clothes laid out, their bellies empty and creaking with hunger. They gather around the mess table to start their day. "God, you look like I feel, Captain," says Rye, the ship's technician. She's already sporting her signature baseball cap, the one with the black brim and Texaco faded at the front. She sits with a leg up, as if ready to leap from the table should the need arise. She slugs you on the shoulder, Miller, as you sit next to her. "Who are we looking at?"
Shut the fuck up, Rye. Miller is, yeah, she looks like shit. She's got dark circles under her eyes. Her hair pulled back in a messy bun. She's wearily looking around the cabin of the galley. Pass me the coffee.
A hand reaches across and grabs the carafe of coffee. It belongs to Cham, one of the other technicians aboard the Valkyrie. This ship, the Valkyrie, and you being the captain, is your pride and joy. Something that you've had for as long as you had hoped to have been owning a ship. However, you don't quite own this ship, do you?
No. And as she looks around, she considers the worn seating, the chipped formalin of the countertop, poorly maintained appliances. No, her ship would be much nicer than this. Will be much nicer than this.
The 2 technicians that sit at either side of you sort of begin greedily eating. Cham is one of your new recruits, someone that you haven't actually vetted before today. He sits with his hair sort of tied back in a greasy bun, shoveling spoonfuls of food into his mouth, when another man enters, Wilson, an agent for Weyland-Yutani. He steps out of the cryo chamber, the last, as the 2 eye him with curious regard. He sits and joins you at the table. "Who are we looking at, Mr. Wilson?"
Mr. Wilson is he's middle-aged. He's a company man. Most of his career has been spent behind the desk, but some opportunities have presented themselves recently that allowed him to kind of get out into the field a little bit more. And he starts to look around, and he's in a very unfamiliar place. He doesn't know this ship. He doesn't know the layout. This is it's an aging ship, so it doesn't conform to a lot of the same standards that he's used to on some of his more recent assignments. So he's having a little bit of trouble trying to get his bearings, get oriented. Didn't have a lot of time before cryo sleep to really get a good feel for where everything's at.
Rye turns to you, Captain, and sort of with a almost disgusted expression, she says, "What's with the suit?" Pointing to Miller. Oh, sorry, Wilson.
Well, you got to look your company best. Doesn't matter if you're sitting in an office or if you're sitting in a mess hall.
No, I mean you, the suit. Miller, why is this fuckwit on our ship?
It's not a question for me, Rye.
Well, you're the captain, aren't you? Cham sort of holds up a hand across from her, like, calm down, Rye. No, since when is Weyland-Yutani's fucking suits coming here? I thought this was something that... What is this job anyway?
Hey, where'd you get your paycheck from?
Same place as everybody else.
Same place as me.
So what the fuck is this all about then? She says, and sort of turns to you, Wilson, with a sort of awaiting explanation.
So Wayland sent me here as kind of a special case. I know that a lot of you haven't been briefed in on what we're going to be doing here. Hopefully this is just going to be a quick in and out mission. This shouldn't take much effort.
We got time, Wilson, if you want a brief.
Yeah. So what Wayland sent us out here to do, about 5 years ago, there was a science and research ship that was sent out on a classified mission, and it just went quiet. No one ever heard back from them. It's called the Kronos. And 2 weeks ago, some of the boys over at Mission Control received a signal, and it appeared to be coming from the last known coordinates of where the Kronos was. So what Weyland-Yutani wants us to do is to go out. They want us to see if there's anything to this signal. They want us to see if this is in fact the Kronos. Try to figure out what's happened with the crew, and then and report back to them, and go from there.
This is a distress signal?
I don't believe so. I think it was just a transmission that they received. They didn't really tell me what the signal was.
Miller, this is bullshit, says Rye, and she sort of stands up, pushes the bowl away from her. What the fuck is this? Never, as long as you and I have known each other, have you let a suit come on your ship and tell us what to do, pointing fingers, and this is fucked, she says, and turns around, sort of paces in a circle like a angry dog looking for a fight.
Rye, sit down, girl. I know that cryo always gets you all hyphy.
This isn't fucking cryo that getting me. Miller, you used to hate these fucking suits more than me. What's with you? You're just sitting there taking it.
She stands up, slow, stretches a little bit, picks up her coffee, and then just casually sort of walks the other woman into a more discreet corner. Now you listen to me, Rye. You owe me ones while you're on this ship. You gotta respect me right now. Listen, I don't want this fucker on here any more than you do. Just bear with me. It's gonna be a short mission, and we'll be back home. Okay?
If he so much as looks at me, funny, I swear to God, Miller. And she pushes past you. As you're talking, Cham has stood up with his bowl. He sort of has this almost surfer vibe, but he's one of the best techs that you've ever seen. He walks over to you, Wilson, sort of chewing loudly. He's like, "So you work for Weyland-Yutani, huh?" Yeah? Do you do what? Pencil pushing stuff? What do you do there?
Yeah, I make sure that everything that's that Wayland wants in their missions gets done according to plan. Hopefully this mission's just going to be a quick in and out. We can all get back to the dry dock and make a nice little bit of scratch off of this.
You don't mind Rye. She just gets a bit heated because your company kind of sucks. And he takes a big bite of cereal and turns away and puts the empty bowl on the desk. And as the four of you sort of culminate back around the mess table, there's a voice that comes on the intercom, a voice that you all recognize as Mother, the ship's computer, Mother 6500. She's the central mainframe computer that runs all of the Valkyrie's essential systems. She acts as long-range scanner, sometimes remote piloting. More than anything, she is the central intelligence of all major Weyland-Yutani ships across the universe. The voice sets out and, in a very clear, crisp voice, says, "Captain Miller, I require your presence at the bridge."
Good morning, Mother. Just a moment. Excuse me, everyone. Enjoy breakfast.
Rye sort of puts her foot back over the bench and sort of just stares at Wilson as Cham takes another big bite of cereal, sort of like watching between the two of them as you move towards the bridge. The bridge section of your ship is pretty modest. The Valkyrie is originally a hauling ship, but now you sort of use only the front end to do your various missions. Sort of piecemeal, like you want to add more and more to the ship to make it your own as the years go by. And the mainframe room that Mother occupies is sort of just off. You use your key card, scan the door, and it sweeps open as you enter and sit. And in that calm voice, she says, "How is your rest, Miller?"
It was lovely, Mother. Are we there yet?
Yes, we are. We have reached our destination. However, there is a transmission that I think you need to hear.
All right. She sits down in one of the pilot's chairs and surveys the starscape. It never gets old. Play it back for me.
The transmission sort of comes out to a garbled... Would you like me to play it again?
Yes, please. Can you reduce the distortion at all?
I've tried many times. This is the transmission that was originally sent to Weyland-Yutani headquarters. This is the transmission that we are responding to. This is as clear as it gets.
Play it back for me again.
Why don't you give me some sort of roll that indicates some sort of listen?
Okay. I have an observation skill.
Let's use observation.
Let's fucking use it. I fail.
Yeah, you can't quite make it out, and it makes a lot of sense since Weyland-Yutani sort of sent this clean version as the only one.
What do you think it is, Mother?
I'm not too sure. However, the main reason that I wanted to call your attention is that we have received a distress signal.
From the ship?
I'm not too sure.
All right, where does it originate from?
Let me show you. And she pulls up a series of charts. Wilson, you're sitting at the mess table, being eyed down by Rye as Cham sort of eats loudly next to you.
So, how long have you guys been with Miller?
2 years, says Rye, sort of cutting you off. In 2 years, I've never seen her have someone like you on the ship.
Look, I know tensions are high right now. I understand. Believe me, I don't want to be here any more than you guys want me here. But like I said, Weyland-Yutani's got this thing on the radar. It's been given top priority. They wanted somebody in the field to keep an eye on things, and they sent me. So I say we just get in here, we knock this thing out, we all get back home, we get a little bit richer, and you don't have to see me again.
Why don't you give me a... I don't know, is that manipulation? Not really. But why don't you give me one anyway, because it sounds fun.
Empathy, maybe?
Yeah,
maybe empathy?
That makes more sense. Give me a empathy roll.
Oh, well, let me reset that here. That's a pass.
Perfect. So yeah, you see Cham sort of like look over at Rye a bit like, and she sort of tries to avert his gaze at first, and then eventually you can tell he sort of fights her on it, and she matches his eye, and he kind of gives a shrug like, come on, the guy's just trying to do his fucking job. Fine. And she stands up and sort of angrily walks out of the room, but in a way that you can tell kind of got through to her. And as you meet Cham's eye, he sort of smiles at you with a bit of like a, you're going to get through to her. Just then, as Rye sort of leaves the room, Captain Miller comes back into the mess hall to sort of relay what she's heard from Mother.
All right, everyone, listen up.
Rye turns at the door. Back in.
Mother has intercepted a signal that she interprets as a distress signal coming from approximately the location of the ship that we're looking for. It's garbled as fuck. If anyone wants to try to take a shot at understanding what it's all about, please be my guest. I can't make heads or tails of it, but...
Cham sort of perks up and says, "So, wait, is this the Kronos, or is this the ship?"
We don't know yet. We have to get closer.
Can we listen to the message? Can Mother play it back
Mother,
for us?
can you play the message back, please?
What role was that for?
What? Oh, he's just
What did
rolling.
Wilson roll for? What were you rolling for? To see if you could convince him?
No, that was me. That was me getting back into the window.
Oh.
Ah, yes. just dice for dice sake.
Just throwing dice. Just throwing dice.
Perfect.
No, but can I do an observation roll against that?
Yeah, sure. So the Mother plays it for everybody. This is the transmission that you heard, actually, pretty much right before getting on the ship. The distress signal is a separate entity. Mother sort of reported both so that she could hear the transmission, and the distress signal is something that seems to be in the general vicinity. Mother goes on to explain, with the captain's permission, that the distress signal is being picked up relatively in the same area as the Kronos is. However, she can't confirm that it is the ship in question.
All right, so can any of you make heads or tails of this?
She plays it back again, the original transmission, and Wilson, you've already tried your best to hear it, and you couldn't. Both Cham and Rye listen, sort of shy away from the sound. No, it sounds like nonsense. This is the transmission from the original Kronos that was picked up 2 weeks ago. It sounds like shit. No wonder they wanted to send someone out.
Wilson, you said that the company received a signal from the Kronos. Do you have any information about what kind of signal that was?
This was the transmission in question.
Oh, really?
Yes.
The fuck? Well, I mean, I think Miller is presuming that Wilson knows more than he's letting on. I'd like to manipulate him into telling me.
Okay. You gonna try for a roll?
Huh?
Now we have to do the PvP rules. The ones that didn't look into that much.
That's a 6.
So you succeed at trying
Technically, actually, I have a skill that would pertain to this.
Which would be?
That is my pull rank.
Okay. What does that say?
Allow me a moment to pull it up, please.
To pull, rank it up. Are you asking Rye and Cham to like leave the room, or are you doing this in front of them?
No, I'm basically just like, listen. You know more than you're letting on, and I think it's time that you let us know what that is.
Tim, I'll let you play this however you want. I mean, she succeeds. How much, or if any, information you even have to share, I'll leave it totally up to you, role playing wise.
So way you played this transmission for me, and they told me that, you know, this was all that they had. What you just heard was exactly what I heard. I don't know anything about the crew or anything like that beyond what, you know, what's already available in our databases. Beyond that, I mean, you know, my supervisor told me that if we can find the Kronos, that there might be material of value to weigh you, and that would be considered a bonus for us.
And Rye literally like perks up. Hold on, bonus? Were you were gonna keep this fucking bonus from us? Miller, did you know anything about this bonus?
Not yet. Rye, just fucking sit down.
And I didn't want to tell you guys about the bonus yet because I didn't know what we were going to find when we got there. If the cargo's even still intact. Like, I don't know these things. So I didn't want to promise you guys a bonus. And then you get mad at me because we got there and this stuff is either, you know, deteriorated or it's missing. We don't even know if the ship is even there.
All right, Wilson. Thank you for your disclosure. Mother, Do we have visuals on the ship?
I'm opening the blast shutters now. And as you move towards the bridge, she sort of pulls back the full view of the front cockpit. You only had like a sort of an isolated slit during hypersleep and travel. It's shut so that there's no issues for a multitude of reasons. This is where you're sort of looking at the stars through. But as you pull back the large shutters, the first thing you recognize, as does everyone, is besides the feeling of familiarity as you walk onto the Valkyrie, feeling warm, almost for the first time since waking, you appreciate the return to form. You immediately see the white curvature of a planet just outside the large bay windows of the ship. What the hell? Ray says, sort of like echoing everyone's thoughts. I didn't know this thing came from near a planet. Did we know this?
As far as I know, she casts a meaningful look at Wilson. This ship was floating dead in space. I wasn't given privy the coordinates that were flying. Fortunately, maybe the ship put down when they were in distress.
Cham, who sort of works as the technical operator as well as regular technician, jumps into one of the pilot seats and starts mashing away at buttons, pinpointing the exact location of the distress signal. It doesn't look like it's too far from us, he says, and sort of points out past to a tiny, barely noticeable dot against the black landscape behind. It looks like it's that direction. Should we set a course?
Mother, is this planet inhabited?
No. In fact, this planet is completely uncharted. It only has a Weyland-Yutani register number of LV111.
All right, let's go take a closer look. Any objections?
Rye, sort of for the first time after being batted down a little bit by Wilson, sort of has a bit of excitement in her voice. The prospect of getting a little bit of bonus on this action kind of makes her a bit happier. She's like, let's fucking do it. And she walks over to her station while in flight. Cham sort of lifts off the controls for a moment and turns towards you, Miller, and says, did you want to take her in, Captain?
Yeah, all right. Oh, she does one of those cool Riker, like, leg over the back of the seat.
How do
to
you
sit
know
down.
that?
Shut up. I just know everything.
I love the Riker thing.
Do you know he did that because the actor actually had a back problem?
Yeah, and he was really fucking tall. The seat, anyway.
So she does that because it's cool, and sits down and puts her hands on the controls. Even though this isn't her ship, this is far from her ideal ship, she still loves flying. So she takes it in close. Do you want me to roll?
Yeah, give me a straight up and down piloting roll. I mean,
Do so.
you have been in hypersleep.
Yes, I succeeded.
Wow. Yeah, no, you're good. So, yeah, you handle it effortlessly. Wilson, Rye, Cham all watch on as you handle the stick and drive it towards the little gray dot on the horizon that slowly grows. It's not the horizon, but that slowly grows bigger as you approach. Each of you sort of squint your eyes at the sight as it comes into view. Wilson, why don't you give me an observation roll?
Alrighty. Well, except that needs to be on a 6, not an 8.
I was going to say 8 out of 6. You win.
That is not a pass.
You should be rolling 5.
Yeah.
Because you have 3 for wits and 2 for observation. So roll 2 more.
Compounded. Got
Correct.
it.
Yeah.
All right.
You can re-roll all of them if you want. Oh,
okay.
Wow, much better. So actually, interestingly enough, we've started on one of the first interesting subsystems of this new system that we were playing, which is a bonus die or a, what's the technical word for it?
Stunt.
Stunt. Thank you.
Yes.
So you've just stunted. So if you look
Page 42.
at page 42, you can choose from a stunt if you would like.
Let me see here.
So this system that we are playing is by a Swedish company called something.
So this reads like... Sorry to interrupt you. So
No, go ahead.
This reads like you give him the positive result of the observation roll, and he gets to follow that up with a question.
That's what I was just looking at there.
Perfect.
Because it's hard for him to really ask any of those things before.
That sounds great. So yeah, you definitely make out what it is. First and foremost, you see on the horizon that the object that's approaching, or growing larger rather, as you approach, is not the Kronos itself. It seems to be a much smaller ship, almost discus in shape. Maybe a 1, 2, 3 man vessel maximum. And now because you've stunted, you can ask a follow-up question.
Yeah, so for the stunt, we'll say, are there more of them close by?
So you scan the scene around them pretty vigorously, nervously searching for the Kronos, the actual vessel that you've come to collect. However, you do not see any other vessels nearby. You only see this small ship. And great use of the question. Also, do you know who did the system, Tim? I figured you know.
I'm sorry?
Do you know who made this system? First Something Publishing, I think it's called.
Like Phelan Publishing?
Yeah, they're a Swedish company. Anyway, I wanted to mention it and then totally forgot, because who knows who makes these systems? I mean, they just appear. Free League Publishing.
Free League.
They're the same company who did Tales from the Loop. So anyway, yes,
yeah. So
recognize this.
So I'm looking at the scans down on the computer screen, and I'm I keep going back and forth. I keep looking out the bridge window, looking down at the screen. My brain's trying to kind of resolve what I'm seeing, what the ship's telling me is there, what I think should be there. Mother, do we know what kind of ship this is?
I'm scanning for any traces of recognition. However, I do not have this ship in my database.
Do we know if the distress signal that we picked up was actually a properly encoded, or if it's a valid USCSS distress signal?
Yes.
Well, damn.
We do know.
And?
No, yes, it is. It is a properly encoded.
Fucking computers.
So yeah, eventually you pull up right alongside it if that's your goal.
This isn't our objective. This isn't
I'm
the Kronos.
I'm inclined to agree. I'm not going to fight you on this. I'm inclined to agree. We were sent here to find the Kronos, but this thing's putting out a signal that is a distress signal. I mean, we should at least go check it out and see why we're seeing this.
Doesn't sound like a distress signal that I've ever heard. And Mother can't identify this ship. I don't want to just put down next to any old fucking hunk of trash and go poking around.
To clarify, she can't identify this ship. However, the distress signal coming from the ship is a USCSS distress signal.
That we
Mother,
can't
could you
interpret.
It's just sort of a beeping. Boop.
Yeah, can you determine whether or not this ship is like one of the support ships, or like one of the survey ships that would have been located inside the Kronos, or any class of ship like it?
Give me a roll for that.
Okay.
Specific. Let's try something along the lines of
Comtech.
Yeah, Comtech. That sounds great.
And Miller is just pulling a series of approaching flybys right now, getting a look at the ship from all sides, but not setting down. Sorry?
That's a negative for Wilson's request. And as you're doing a flyby, yeah, you're trying to get as close as you can. With space being space, you can just kind of like park up pretty much right at it and get a full view of it in your...
This is a ship that is landed, correct?
No, you're floating in space.
Okay. Because when you were discussing the planet, to me, I didn't think that we were still orbiting.
My apologies. No, this is in orbit outside.
Great. That's even better. So...
Oh, I'm going to do sound effects if you land on the planet. It's going to be like... and it's going to be like really tough.
I look forward to it. So Miller pulls up in tandem orbit with the ship. Does it appear to be in good repair?
So how close are you getting? Are you getting close enough to sort of give this thing a full view?
Mother, scan the ship.
And this like blanket of blue light sort of comes out. So you're going to have to get close if you're doing a short range scan.
You said she's a long range scanner.
She does, but that's only like the shape of it, and this is retrofuturism. She's like
Okay, so it looks
mechanical gears and
the
whirring.
screen's like this big.
Yeah, literally. It's like
All right, let's get close.
yeah. So she does her short range scanner, which is like literally like a barcode. And as she does, it's sort of a combination roll of comtech / observation. So if you'd like to roll either of those for either of you, what I can do is I can give you an aid. If someone would like to roll either comtech or observation, I will give whomever is rolling a +2 because the other person is aiding.
I'll aid Wilson.
Perfect. Wilson, why don't you give us a roll for one of those two?
Okay, so she's gonna roll 2 and I'm gonna roll 5, correct?
You're gonna roll 7, so she's just gonna.
I'm
just
not
gonna roll
rolling
the
shit.
full. Okay.
I'm piloting
All right.
the ship so that you get nice and cozy with it.
That is a fail.
Did you want to push it?
Push it real good.
So pushing is an option for this system as well. You can push a roll. The consequences are obviously much worse, and every time you push it, you take a stress. I think.
Correct.
So you'd be stressed. You'd be a little stressed. It's up to you.
Not
I'll be
that
a little
you-
stressed, but Wilson's looking at this as, you know, this is kind of a side leg to the mission, and you know he feels as a company man he feels kind of responsible that, you know, if this is putting out a way distress signal, this could be something beneficial to him, kind of above and beyond his given mission, to be able to go back and say, hey, you know, we went looking for this ship and we found this other ship in distress and saved, you know, Wayu property. So no, I'm going to go ahead and push it.
Okay.
Let's see what we get here.
So
There we
you
go.
succeed. You are going to take a stress. So make sure you
Yes.
check off that little box. But yeah, you succeed. And the first thing you notice is the large painted letters of Kronos on this ship. However, it doesn't look like the Kronos. It doesn't look like the large scientific vessel that you know is sort of one of a kind that was manufactured, you know, years ago. So at first it sort of sits uncomfortable in your stomach.
He also gets to stunt that.
You also can stunt all over it. Would you like to ask a follow-up question?
Yes. Let's go with how do I get in? How do we get into the ship?
Perfect. You notice immediately the large hole blown in the side of this vessel. It seems easy enough to EVA directly into it, or you could use the umbilical to connect to the side of it and sort of just float in. It wouldn't be a secure connection, obviously, but it doesn't look like the ship is moving. It seems to be just stationary sitting.
Does the ship appear to have taken any other significant damage? Or is there just one solitary hole blasted in the side of it?
Looks like one solitary hole blast.
All right.
So yeah, guys, we could just pull up alongside this and throw the umbilical out. We could ask Mother if she could try to repressurize the ship and take a look.
And I'm going to say Cham speaks up and sort of says, does that say Kronos on it? I thought you said the ship was supposed to be big.
And Wilson's just kind of trying to dance around, you know, the observation that, you know, this clearly, it says this is the ship that we're looking for, but this clearly doesn't match the specs in the database about the ship.
Why don't you give me something that would give you a bit of like an internal, what you would know, sort of like an insight, but I don't know what insight would be in the system. Oh wait, strength, wits, empathy. Let's just do a straight up wits roll. So that would
Straight
be
wits?
Yeah, so
Okay.
3 for you.
All right, let's see what we got here. Nope.
No. So yeah, no, you're not too sure why either. It's kind of throwing you for a loopy loop.
No, so guys, I mean, it clearly says Kronos right there on the side. We know this is a good distress signal. So maybe something got corrupted in the database. Maybe they were wrong about the kind of ship we were looking for. But you know, Wayu sent us out here to look for the Kronos, and here it is.
Indeed. A ship that's been broadcasting a distress signal for 2 weeks, that's of this size. I don't expect any survivors, Wilson. All right, let's dock up.
And you pull the ship pretty effortlessly next to the large vacant hole. Now, there are sort of a few ways you can approach the ship. You can try to dock up with the exploded portion of the ship, or you can use the other side. It's sort of in a boomerang shape, I'm going to say. It's a pretty large vessel, like I said. I mean, it's not small, but it's probably comfortable for 3 people. There might be 3 or 4 rooms on board. It's not multi-level. It's all single story, but
I'm imagining it as about like a third of the size of the ship of the Valkyrie, maybe?
I think that's a good, yes, probably a third of a size. That's pretty apt.
And would I be correct in assuming that we would need to do like a spacewalk, essentially? I mean, I guess we would be smart to don suits regardless.
Suits, absolutely, 100%. And you as captain, you have a few options here. You could park alongside, open up your door, and literally float across. You could use the umbilical to try to connect to one of the docking ports that are still intact, probably on the other side of the ship. You could float directly into the blown open section of the ship using the umbilical, or you can use the daffodil in your landing bay to load up and literally drive over to the ship and do the same. So you have a few options as captain. And it's your call, captain.
It is my call. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the free floating directly across to the next ship option. That seems a little bit hazardous to me. I like the idea of the umbilica hookup. But I also want to use the Daffy. Does the Daffy connect directly to the second ship?
No, but she's small enough that she could probably just coast into the crumbled section. It wouldn't be a secure connection, no.
All right. Okay, who's coming over?
It's your call, captain. Who do you want over?
Well, wondering if there's a volunteer who wants to stay with the ship.
Cham and Rye look at each other and do rock, paper, scissors. And let's do Cham. Got a nat 20.
Ooh.
So the question is, does he want to stay with the ship? No, he'll probably go over.
All right.
So Rye's like, fuck, okay, fine. And she gets behind the consoles, puts on her little head thing, and the 3 of you move towards the umbilical section, you said?
Yeah, so I'm going to maneuver the ship to get up alongside one of the ports of the Kronos. I don't intend to enter that blasted up section directly.
Okay.
We can investigate the damage
And
after
Cham
we
sort
board.
of nods to you, and he's like, okay. And as you get into position, he extends the umbilical, and it reaches over. Now, to use this, you're going to have someone or yourself float to the end of it and sort of manually hook it up to the port.
I'll do that.
Okay.
Wilson, you're coming with.
And I kind of give her this long, and he just barely passed his EVA qualifications. So he looks over to Miller and is just like, actually, I've got some stuff that I need to check out in the bunk. You guys go ahead and
It's not an option. It's not an optional mission.
And so he's
For some awesome tension, I think definitely you can pull rank on him.
Okay.
'Cause
And
I don't
then
think he doesn't actually want to come. I think he's just being cool, which I
Great.
totally love, by the way.
No, I want to make this happen in a way that makes the game feel more real.
I want to. So let me say this: how does Miller pull rank on Wilson?
She turns her back to him for a minute, and she's like getting geared up. She's like putting on her suit, getting her helmet in her hands. She's like buffing a spot off of this helmet because this is a suit she's worn 100 times. And she turns around and she goes, "You do have a suit, don't you?"
And Wilson starts looking around. He didn't bring his own gear on board. He kind of assumed that the ship would have enough suits for everyone. So
she looks knowingly and sort of sizes him up and down. And then she looks over at Rye. I think she might have one that would fit you.
and he cast a quick glance over at Rye.
And she sort of smiles and like stands up. She's like, "Yeah, I do." And she walks over and grabs one and like shoves it at him and says, "Good luck, Flyboy," and like taps the helmet on in his arms as the three of you get suited up. Cham is like already suited up. He's like still eating something in his helmet. Let's do this. He's kind of like a almost like a surfer guy a little bit. He's got like a greasy bun. He's kind of like, all right. And he's standing by the door as...
So he's like behind the console, like maneuvering this tunnel. And I get into the airlock and I like secure the helmet on my head. And the airlock depressurizes and the familiar feeling of weightlessness. It's beautiful.
It creeps across all of you because even Wilson is sort of standing next to Cham, who's organizing the flight across.
She starts like pulling herself down the umbilical towards this unknown ship, and like
Wilson was kind of caught off guard a little bit. He's just kind of he didn't secure himself on the sidewalls, and so he's just kind of flailing around a little bit, slowly moving towards one of the walls, but essentially just treading water in midair.
Yeah, exactly. And as you get to the end of the tether, you pretty easily hook it up to the side. It sort of has these suction cups at the end that lock in.
It's all moving in slow motion, and like we hear the audio, or I do, from within my helmet. It's just like my own breathing.
And as you go to open it, you realize that you'll need the laser welder to actually cut the door open.
Fuck. Do we have comms?
Yeah.
Need the welder. This thing's jammed.
And Cham sort of nods to Wilson and hands him the laser cutter, and then like nods towards the Miller.
So Wilson's gonna take take the welder, and he kind of looks down at it, looks back over at Cham, and thinks for a second about handing it back to him. But then he catches out of the corner of his eye, he catches Miller kind of staring him down, and so he's trying to fight the anti-gravity. He's trying to walk down the umbilical, but obviously can't. So he's encumbered with this welder under one arm, and he's kind of like pawing at the wall a little bit, trying to get a grasp on anything that will give him leverage to get further down. And it takes a lot longer than it needed to, but he does eventually reach the end of the umbilical, and then kind of like just wrestles the flame, or wrestles the welder over to Miller.
Miller's not acknowledging any difficulty, not making light of his obvious inexperience, just like nods, takes the machinery, and starts opening this crazy door. But we can't hear it, right? It's in space. So like we see all this crazy fire and like plasma and shit, but it's just
in space, no one can hear you weld.
That's
and the door opens, and Cham is like quickly behind you, like flying through, and eventually the three of you enter and repressurize the outer door, which sort of with a clunk. There's like a double door system, and the inner door was left open and shuts. You see Cham sort of working a wheel, and then the pressure rises, and you can see that this inner door now is open, revealing the inside of this small ship. There's still no gravity in it, but the minute you open the door, the first thing you recognize is sort of the entire interior is obviously bathed in darkness. There's no light coming from inside whatsoever. Even the white from the planet outside doesn't seem to fill the inside with any sort of light.
Question: since we came in on the side where the umbilical would normally be assumed to be attached, does the umbilical have the capability of routing like auxiliary power and or potentially data? Like, would we be able to talk to Mother while we're while the umbilical is still connected?
I'm going to say the umbilical is irrelevant to talking to Mother. I think sort of it's going to be retro. You can talk to her like on a comm through the main computer, the same way you can talk to Rye back on the ship. In fact, she says, "What do you guys see in there?" But there's no sort of data processing or light processing. You're sort of very retro in a sense.
Okay.
Retro. What portion of the ship have we docked to? What do we see?
So the inner door opens and you're immediately greeted with sort of a bizarre ship. It's sort of a scientific vessel of sorts. You see long tables that were once white and probably still are, but with the light of your helmet casting stark shadows. As you float into the room, you sort of see these tables look almost like slabs where bodies would lie. There are walls lined with shelves that have been opened. The glass vials inside sort of float listlessly around you. Broken bits of glass sort of softly clinking against your helmet as you move into the room. Cham sort of is like, oh, what the fuck? As you move in, it's a pretty spacious, large area. And immediately as you enter it, Wilson, you recognize it. Having looked at the blueprints to the Kronos many times, you recognize this as the science vessel. The Kronos is a large ship with an ejectable science capsule at the rear of it. You've never seen it apart from it. In fact, you only knew that it came out in theory. The purpose of which is to sort of investigate objects up close. It can be used as a again, sort of a almost like a remote submarine to be able to scoot off and look at objects up close.
Like we have the Daffodil.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's a lifeboat.
Exactly, but because it's built into the actual framework of the ship, you didn't recognize the shape nor the function of it on its own. Something like this was never really meant to be floating out here in space, completely empty. In fact, if it was used like this, it might have been used as some sort of escape pod. And as you look around, you see the console. It does have sort of piloting capabilities, and the far end of the room is shut. And beyond that, you see this is where the other side of the ship was blown open.
So I'm looking around and kind of squinting through the darkness a little bit. I know that we've got our onboard lights that are attached to our helmet, and so I only get little glimpses of things here and there, and trying to work my way through the shadows. And he just kind of looks around and it's just, what the hell happened here? And turns to Miller, and he kind of reiterates the same thing. Like I've seen this before. This is the Kronos, or what's left of it. This is just supposed to be like a temporary ship that they can use when they're like landing on planets. But this isn't supposed to. Where's the rest of the ship?
Clearly something happened. Now, whether that was 5 years ago or 2 weeks ago, we have yet to find out. Let's stay together.
As you say that, the dashboard powers on, and Cham sort of like turns around, like, turned it on. And he's got his hand on like the power switch, and you see all the monitors sort of clicking to life, and the dim lights of this room sort of come into view. And he starts typing away at a console. It looks like someone recorded a message, and he plays it, and it's the transmission, almost verbatim. But it's accompanied with a video. And you see a woman sort of on the small screen as you all sort of float around. She sits there sort of sweating her face. She's wearing a patch that says Kronos. And she's sitting at this very terminal, sort of frantically saying something. And you can't make out the audio, but as her eyes grow wide, you see her turn around and see something over a corner, and then the video cuts out.
Can I do an observation roll to see if I know who this woman is?
Sure. Well, you didn't. I don't think you took. No, you don't. You don't know the crew of the Kronos, unfortunately, because you weren't given that information. But based on the fact that she is wearing the thing, you can kind of do it. There's other things in the console that you can probably be looking for, though.
Cham, is that all you can get? Is there anything else?
Do they have any logs or like is their mother working?
And he sort of purses his lips and he says, using this, I could probably locate the Kronos. And because this is the source of the transmission, I might be able to clear up the signal. But let me try. And he sort of goes to one of the terminals. Do one of you two want to try the other one of those two options?
I'm not great in comm tech. Do you have any training, Wilson?
I have a little bit. I can. I mean, this is really old. This is older equipment, but I can certainly try.
As a Wayland boy, why don't you give it a shot? I'm gonna keep poking around.
Perfect. Why don't you give me a Comtech roll for trying to locate the Kronos?
Okay.
While I'm going to do a roll for Cham trying to decipher the transmission. Oh, we're not using.
And that is a fail.
He succeeds. So he's plugging away on it, and you're floating around the ship a little bit, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna stay in the same room, this like experimentation bay.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to locate the source of the broken glass because we entered through the sealed door, so I presume that there's like what's busted. I want to do a little bit of exploring around in this room. Maybe I'm also interested in investigating the place in the video. You said she was sitting at the terminal that Cham was sitting at?
Correct.
Where we saw the strange figure emerge?
Yeah.
I'm going to go look at that area and see what is there.
So give me an observation roll, first and foremost. And as Cham sort of clears the signal, he sees you, Wilson, sort of plugging away at it, and he's like, here, let me. And he's going to give you a +2 to try to re-roll. Why don't you look for a what do you call it? Because you rolled 2 6s, give me a stunt that you'd like for your observation, and I'll tell you what you see in a second. Or I can just give you 2 observation points, because there's 2 things that you can probably see in this room. Why don't we do that instead?
Yeah, tell me all about it, Stud.
So first and foremost, why don't you re-roll that, Tim? Or Will?
That is close, but no cigar.
Okay, so, by the way, going forward, remember, you have a stress, so you should be rolling a stress going forward.
I should be rolling a stress dice.
That's okay, though. We'll just do it going forward.
Oh, so should I, because I pulled rank. I don't know if because Wilson was kind of inclined to do as I said.
No, we'll both give you 1 stress. Okay. I think it's a good call.
Got it.
You float over to the area in the video that she sort of looked nervously over, and you see a series of black tubes, these sort of thick, almost sponge-like nodes, electrical nodes that are sort of lining the wall. Nothing seems to jump out to you necessarily, and as you reach forward and go to touch them, you recognize sort of a white, yellow, dry residue on some of them.
This is the place where I saw the figure, or the place where I think the glass may have.
Where you saw the figure. But you sort of brush it off as nothing seems to be here now. You continue to float around the room, and you recognize that the glass is sort of omnipresent. It's from a multitude of test tubes that were probably stored in various things that have broken upon some sort of jostling of the science vessel. However, the ship's sort of shaped like a boomerang. You've entered through one end of the boomerang through the door, and then you're in sort of large, almost U-shaped main body of the science vessel where the top sort of has the comms that you've been touching. You float to the other end where the door keeps you sort of from the outside space. This is where the other side of the ship has been blown open. And you float towards that door and see a large window. And you look through, you can see the white of the planet directly through the large opening that's blown in the side of the ship. And you spend a moment sort of just looking at it. And as Cham sort of leans away from Wilson, says, I think the message is, I don't think we're going to be able to find the location of the Cronus using that. He presses play on the video. The transmission feed sort of cleared up, and loudly it startles each of you as you hear, "My name is Pinion from the Cronus. We landed LV 1113, surviving crew on the planet still. Something came, and then you hear her scream, and the video cuts out. Cham sort of looks up towards the two of you nervously, and after a second says, "This was dated 5 years ago."
Did she say landed?
Yeah, she said that the surviving crew are on the planet. Dated 5 years ago. So why did the distress signal just start 2 weeks ago?
It's not impossible that maybe getting caught in the planet's atmosphere, if it's got a lot of metal, it could have distorted the signal, it could have hidden it.
I don't like this.
Maybe I can, now we know it's on the planet, maybe I can, and he starts tapping away at the console, and after a few minutes he says, yeah. Rye, are you getting this? And you can hear, yeah, I'm listening to all of it. Listen, we've located the Cronus, it's on the planet.
Yeah, we just found the coordinates. Cham, can you relay those to Rye?
Yeah, I'm sending them now. And he sort of taps something, and Rye says, got it. So we know where the Cronus is. Well, that's good. All of a sudden, you hear a crash, like the grinding of metal. Rye starts freaking out on the comms. Oh, gee. And through all of your communications, you hear the voice of Mother. Displacement drive malfunction. Cascade failure imminent. Fission reactor overload in T-minus 10 minutes. Everyone get one stress level higher. A klaxon starts blaring through your ears as you can hear the engines of the Valkyrie sort of fire and sputter. Rye starts screaming over the comms, "What the fuck? I don't know what happened, Miller! Something's happened. Mother's just taking control of the ship."
Mother, damage report.
No damage. Displacement drive malfunction. Cascade failure imminent. Fission reactor overload in T-minus 9 minutes and 52 seconds.
Jesus Christ.
Cham turns wide-eyed towards you, and Wilson, he sort of glances at you as well. What the fuck is she talking about?
Back to the ship right now.
And he spins in his seat and starts grinding along the walls, pulling towards the bay.
Wilson, come on.
What are you doing, Wilson?
So Wilson's kind of got this deer in the headlights look, very pale faced. He's not expecting anything to go right, and this has just kind of confirmed his worst fears that whenever he tries to do something like this, something is going to fail, something is going to go wrong. So he's kind of frozen in place for a second. And he's processing all of this in his brain. It stretches out. It seems like an eternity for him.
Miller, you go to grab him, but he's like frozen. He's sort of not moving.
Come on, let's go right now. Move it.
And so that kind of snaps him out of it a little bit, and he just he kind of shakes his head a little bit, comes to very disoriented. He's looking around like he's looking for an exit. But he's not sure which way to go. So he kind of starts pushing off in the general direction of Miller. Probably a little bit harder than he should have, just because, he's stressed and he's trying to escape. And so he kind of tumbles into Miller a little bit. I'm expecting, she would straighten him out, kind of get him set on the right course. And so he starts scrambling towards the umbilical.
And as the two of you begin scrambling, the voice of Mother comes through again. It says, 9 minutes remaining.
Fuck. Rye?
Yeah.
What
Miller,
is happening?
I don't fucking know. Listen, I wasn't doing anything. All of a sudden, she just went crazy. Get back here. And
I need a status report from you now.
I don't know what to tell you, she says, is freaking out. The comms are sort of crackling as she does. The three of you are pulling through. Cham already on the other side, ready to, drop the umbilical cord. He's like waving you through, and as you come through, he grabs your hand and pulls you in and shuts the door, dislocating the umbilical. And you enter, removing your sort of helmets but keeping your suits on. You rush inside, and Rye is already waiting for you at the gate, and she's panicking, sweat and like tears coming through her eyes. She's like, Miller, I didn't do anything. You have to believe me.
Everyone on the bridge right now.
And
okay.
Yeah, they run to the bridge after you, and you can see all the terminals sort of flashing red.
Is there any indication about what caused this problem?
Yeah, give me like a calm use.
Great. This will be very good. I succeed twice, and I panic.
Okay, so when you panic, you do something specific. Why don't you explain what happens first?
Great. So when I panic in this instance, just for everyone who's playing along at home, I get to make a panic roll. Let me see. There's a panic table. Essentially, so I have 2 stress dice, and because I rolled a 1 on my stress dice, I panic. And in order to resolve, I roll a d6 and add my current stress level, then check the table.
Yeah.
So
Do you have the table? I have the table here.
I do.
Perfect.
So I add a d6. I'm going to add 5, 6, 7. I have a nervous twitch. My stress level and the stress level of all friendly PCs in short range of me increases by 1. You're
Perfect.
welcome.
Which makes which makes sense. Sorry. I was gonna say 7 minutes.
So I also succeeded on my Comtech roll, and I stunted.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me what you wanted to know.
I wanted to find out what was causing this issue.
It seems like the countdown was triggered intentionally.
Okay. So I'm going to, for each extra success rolled beyond the first, choose one stunt applicable to the situation. I don't need to roll to overcome the exact same challenge in the future. I can do it quickly in half the time it would normally take. Maybe I want to figure out, I get new or unexpected information, GM's choice. I want that.
New or unexpected information?
Yep.
I'm going to give you a big get then.
Gimme.
You realize looking at the screens locked, tapping away at the keyboards, and what you know about Mother, that this is intentional. And furthermore, you know that there is nothing you can do to stop this.
Is there any way that I can find out who started it? Any kind of user ID, any data trail?
Nothing that would take, as she sounds out, 6 minutes. 6 minutes and 46 seconds, she says. You can try.
All right,
however,
motherfuckers.
You also know that the blast of the Valkyrie is massive.
If you don't have any personal effects at hand, it's not coming with you. Everyone get to Daffy. Right now.
So Wilson kind of steps in for a second and just kind of steps in front of her as she's addressing the crew and just looks her dead in the eye. He's very confused by what's going on, but he's starting to come up to speed. He realizes that this ship is imminently doomed at this point, and he kind of looks at the captain and is just ask her what's happening here.
Double time, Wilson.
6 minutes remaining.
We're getting to the ship now.
Mother's voice sounds out over, and the klaxon begins to wail even louder. All the lights are now bathed in red, and Rye is frantically putting on one of the... Oh no, she goes to the suits, but she doesn't have a suit because she gave it to you, and she's like, I don't have a fucking suit, Captain. I don't have a fucking suit.
I know. Just get into Daffy. It's pressurized. You'll be fine. But we can get Wilson out of this fucking suit in a second.
Okay, and she starts running through the halls towards Daffy. Cham is sort of weirdly like unfazed by it. He's like, okay, and he turns and starts heading towards it. Wilson, what are you doing?
Well, when Miller made the comment about getting me out of the suit, I kind of like unintentionally kind of like hug myself. I wanting to hold on to the only thing that I know that can keep me alive if things go really badly. At that point, I don't have my bearings on the ship. I'm still very disoriented. The klaxons, the countdown,
5 minutes remaining. Mother sounds out.
Mother's incessant, persistence at telling us how much longer we have to live. So I'm gonna try to stumble quickly to find my way back to my assigned bunk, and see if I can retrieve a small rucksack that I have.
Sure. Give me he's going to be tough because time is running. Give me a agility roll.
As Miller sees you head off down an alternate corridor, she's like, "You got 2 minutes and then we're leaving."
Okay, agility roll at 4, and at this point I have 3 stress. The stress don't go down, correct? That is cumulative through the game.
You can put them down, but not in this scenario.
Okay,
I'm gonna just chill out.
I'll take those 2 stress, but the other one's fine. It's fine.
Just gonna have a cigarette, friend.
4 minutes
just
remaining.
A minute.
Mother says.
That was a success, and I do not panic.
You barrel in through the door and grab your rucksack just in time to spin around and follow right behind Miller, who is making it. Rye and Cham are already in Daffy, and they're like, "Come on!" And Cham, for the first time, is like freaking out. He's like waving you in, and as she's continuing the countdown and hoping for you each to come in time. Everybody roll agility. No
Also
stress.
with stress?
Let's just do up and
No
down. No,
stress?
just
Okay.
up and down.
Wait. The rules?
No.
Are we doing
That
rules?
is
Success.
a
and
success with a stunt.
You both get in. So you can look up the stunts, but you both get in as she chimes out and says, 3 minutes remaining. And you get into the DAF. And who's driving? I'm assuming Miller, the better pilot?
Yeah.
Perfect. You fire it up, and immediately the bay doors begin opening as the sirens are wailing. Everything is bathed in red, and you begin flying out of the back of the Valkyrie as the countdown is continuing to sound. You know that the explosion that the Valkyrie is going to make is absolutely massive. Where are you heading to?
I'm heading parallel to the surface of the planet, directly away from the Valkyrie.
Okay.
So, planet, Valkyrie, I'm going...
Sorry, do that again because it was low on me.
I'm going... So, here's the planet.
Yeah.
Here's the Valkyrie
Yeah.
up here, and I'm just driving this way.
Okay.
And by driving, I mean flying.
Perfect. Just as Mother says, 2 minutes remaining. And you get in and you fire it up. Give me a piloting -2 roll.
-2?
Yeah. So I guess -2 die.
Also on the stunt for the agility.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna use the you impress someone.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. Who do you want to impress?
Let's say I impress Rye. Let's say that I
You look
ran
better in
got
her
my
suit.
rucksack and-
You
Yeah,
look
she,
better
like-
in her suit
You know what
than she
happens?
does.
You like get in there and you go up to grab it, and she grabs your hand and like helps you up the last minute. She's like, "Glad you made it," and she like pulls you up as like the three of you get in the back, and she's like.
Yeah.
Secretly taking off your suit and putting it on her. No, I'm just kidding. She helps you up. And just as you slam the door, and you start driving away, but the Daffy is still attached to the fucking loading bay. And Rye and Cham were like so excited to do it. They didn't even fucking think about it. And they're like, fuck. And they turn to you and just like, you have to pick one of them to go unhook it. And Mother says, 1 minute remaining.
I mean, Cham's all suited up.
So Cham.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay. And he like jumps out and he's going to try to undo it in time. And you're going to give me another piling roll with no -2.
While she's doing this, I'm gonna be hanging on to the back, the back of the ship, like right where the railing is for the kind of the gangway.
He jumps on, and Mother says 30 seconds remaining, and you're unhooked. And he's like, go, go, go!
I failed my piloting check.
Do you want to push it?
Obviously.
Good idea.
I mean, the game can end here, can it?
Apparently not, because you have a 6. So you fire up the engines just as you pull away, and you do it in such time that the thrusters like throw everybody back a little bit, because you have literally this much time
Oh,
before the entire thing explodes behind you and throws you all forward. Roll a d6.
3.
1.
A 3 and 1? Okay. I'm going to say... Yeah, you can feel something hit your ship, like a piece of shrapnel hitting the engine as you're flying out towards it. And the explosion propels you forward, closer to the planet than you were hoping as you begin heading towards it, caught in the gravitational pull. Everyone's sort of freaking out and trying to buckling into their seats as they're screaming behind you. Give me a pilot roll again, this time -2 again.
boy, oh boy.
Well, you lost an engine.
I succeed and I panic.
You succeed?
Yep. Got a
Let's see,
6.
but that's a panic die.
That's fine. Panic die allow you to succeed.
Ah!
Yeah,
mind.
there's a benefit to
forgot.
getting stressed out.
So, yeah, you begin barreling towards the planet, but you pull up sort of... What's your panic?
I roll 1d6 and I add 3. That's 5. Actually, I don't believe that's a panic.
Good. So you're spinning towards, but you manage to
keep it
sort
together.
of straighten it out. The gravity of the planet is still pulling you down, but you're not crashing. You're sort of just coming in to the white of the planet, sort of unable to pull yourself up without.
Everybody hold on!
Everyone does grab on, and as you sort of even out a little bit, you can feel yourself pulling towards the planet, but you do have sort of control over it. And Rye is sort of freaking out, and she's like, "It wasn't me. I swear to God, Miller, it wasn't fucking me. I don't know what happened. I wasn't doing anything."
And I try to take her down.
While
Somewhere
driving the
safe.
plane?
No.
Oh, you take the plane down. Not Rye down.
Shut up!
Listen here, bitch, whim.
So I stop flying the plane, and I get...
Well, Cham is like, he's like, he comes up to the co-pilot seat and like straps himself in, and he starts programming in the nav. And he's like, "I can take us straight to the Kronos where it landed." And he starts putting it in, and you see on the nav bar the location of the Kronos coming in, sort of through the white as you're approaching sort of the skyline. And as you do, it hits like a fucking rock almost, and you bounce up against the white. But it doesn't crash it. You can just tell immediately you're in like a blizzard, a snowstorm on the planet. It's tossing Daffy back and forth as everyone's trying to hold on. And frantically, you're trying to keep the ship parallel so that it doesn't go nose first into the planet. Give me another piloting roll -2.
So many -2s.
I know.
I almost feel like at this point, because Wilson is just an absolute sheer terror. Like he knows that he can't help the situation. He is very literally just along for the ride at this point. I feel like I should do a panic check just in and of itself.
Yes, please do it. Let's do a stress roll. Just do a
stress roll.
Stress roll.
Ignore the.
You're good. Well, you didn't get a 1, so you're fine.
No, didn't get a 1. So yeah, still manages to keep it together. He's very quiet. He's very he's very huddled in his seat, hanging on to his buckle, because it's the only thing he can grab onto. And he's just looking around. He's looking around from Rye, who's screaming. He's looking towards the pilot or the pilot seat.
Ryan's just like crying. She's like blaming herself. She's holding and she's like frantically going back and forth. She's trying not to look at you. She's freaking out. She's the only one not in a fucking suit, right? So she's like so scared. And as you're barreling down, you succeeded.
Yeah, Miller just pulls up on the console, and with my stunt, I show off as I land this craft successfully. So I feel like because it's a blizzard, I like fucking pull a little 180 and there's just this beautiful snowdrift. Yeah.
And you land sort of in the snow and you can't see anything. It's sort of like a whiteout. But immediately you feel the cold, the absolute freezing cold of the ship. And each of you sort of has your EVA suits and the heat that's lining with them. But you see Rye, and she's just chattering. And she's like, it's so fucking cold, guys. And she holds out her hand, which is sort of drenched in blood from just the ship and getting hit on something. And it's already starting to freeze. You see snowflakes of frost forming on the blood from her hands. Blooms of smoke coming from her.
Jesus, Rye.
Is there, go ahead.
Does the daffodil have any kind of system in place that will like prevent us from freezing to death?
It doesn't have like a onboard system. You can sort of fuck with it to like make it work.
I mean, space is very cold.
Yeah,
I would
but it's
presume
intended to be like a shuttle where you'd wear your suit. Like it's not meant.
Let me ask something here, because I know that in our lockers we
gravity
had
in
our
this.
assigned suits. Does the daffodil have its own decompression suit for emergencies?
You said it seats 10.
I'm gonna say it does have a suit, but not a cold like it's got a helmet to keep you alive in like no air environments. But put it this way, the
This
coldest
is a
space
shitty lifeboat.
It's terrible. Well, it's not a lifeboat. It's like a back and forth little runner. But anyway, she's freezing, and you know that you can sort of fuck with the ship to get heat sort of pouring out, like sort of basically like draining the battery, draining the reactor to sort of like fill it with like heat.
We can't do that. We need the battery on this ship. We don't know if the Kronos is in any working condition. That could be the three of us dead.
Can I make an observation roll or a comtech roll to see if Wilson received any specialized training from Wayu that might lend some insight as to how we could engineer something that won't destroy the ship, but still provide enough heat so that Ray doesn't freeze?
Sure.
Rye doesn't freeze.
Let's try it.
Which would you prefer, like a comtech?
Probably wits actually.
Probably wits. Okay.
Straight up and down wits would be.
Just straight up and down wits. All right. And we're gonna throw 3 stress dice in there as well.
Ooh,
Okay,
man.
so I
But you just
succeed, but I do panic.
Okay, so what do you do panic-wise first?
So panic wise, I turn to Miller and I say something to the effect of, what if we overload the capacitor bank at the very rear of the ship? That's got just enough heat coming off of it. It won't blow. She can, Rye can get right up next to this. She can stay warm, and then we can figure out what to do from here.
Yeah,
And then at the
that's
same
a short-term
time,
solution.
You have to excuse me for a second. There we go. Okay. And then at the same time, is this a double panic, or do I just incur 1?
Let's just say you incur 1. I don't think panic stacks. I remember reading that.
Okay, and then that's a 1d6 on top of
Your stress level.
the 1, or on top of the stress level. All right, so
You have 3 stress. It's gonna be 3 plus whatever you roll.
so that is going to be a 1. Okay, so keep it together.
Yeah, so you're
So
good.
still keep me. He's on the verge of panicking.
But you feel useful.
Everything that's
You sort of-
happening,
you
and
give like a reason that makes sense. And
Yes.
immediately Miller, says that, and Rye's like nodding as you can see, like the whites of her eyes like starting to freeze almost. And quickly you get to work. Even Cham stands up and helps, and he walks over and starts doing it. It's going to be a heavy machinery roll, I think. Probably the most apt, right?
that's what I would. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do heavy machinery. Does anyone want to do it, or does anyone have any skills in it, or should?
I have a 4 strength. I can assist.
Okay.
I have a 2 strength, and I have nothing in heavy machinery.
All right, I'll fucking do it. Hold on. And I do it.
Oh, that was it. That was easy. You did. No, just kidding. Roll. But you'll get a +2 from Cham.
Okay, I succeed with the stunt.
Perfect. Okay, so what's your stunt for heavy machinery?
I do it quickly, in half the time it would normally take, because
That's a good
I
stunt.
care about Rye and I don't want her to die.
Yeah. So you do exactly that. You sort of tap into the energy at the back and immediately starts pulsating heat. Rye almost frozen. You can feel her like stiffening as she moves back, and you guys kind of all pile stuff on her as she warms herself next to the radiating heat of the ship and begins to sort of breathe normally momentarily.
Okay, Cham, put a distress signal right away. That's the best use of our battery.
And Cham starts doing it and then sort of turns woefully to... It's too thick. Everything. I think this is part of the reason why they didn't find the Kronos.
Right. How far away are we?
Kronos?
Yeah.
He looks down and starts typing. Far. We could probably walk it. Maybe a mile.
Okay. Okay. Rye, you stay here, obviously.
And Rye is looking pretty bad. Her eyes are sort of dark and sunken.
Can I roll medical aid?
Yes. Soft, and I'm cutting in and out for people, and I don't want to.
Oh, I want to take a second here, if I can.
You can.
To recover one of my stress dice.
Sure.
Do you think this is an opportunity where I can take a moment to consider the patch on my jacket? Or should I do that after the
I would
scene?
do that after.
Okay.
I would say now is not the appropriate
Great.
time.
So I succeed on... Well, sometimes
sure.
you just got to admire your duds. I succeed on that heal check.
That's your heal check? That's huge. Yeah, so you...
I have a 5 empathy with a 1 in medical aid.
At the same time, Cham turns to you woefully. And he's kind of like, he gives you a head shake and taps on the screen. And you sort of already know before. And you walk over and look at the screen. And it's a readout of the atmosphere. And the oxygen level is nil. It's a high concentration of something bad.
Nitrogen, ladies and
Thank
gentlemen.
you. It's a nitrogen-rich environment. And you can tell already her eyes are sort of like sunken and she's...
Okay. You got to put on this breather.
What I mean, for people who were like commenting, I mean like it's like one of these things. Like it's like an emergency thing. Because like EVAs in space are like lifeblood. It's like the thing you wear all the time. People like walk around in them in this world. So she kind of straps it around and starts breathing a bit normally.
I would like to also use that heal check to bandage her hand.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna say you find a scrap of something pretty easily and wrap it around.
Cool.
So
Is she looking better now? Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Is she looking better now?
No, she's looking about the same.
Dag.
So Wilson's just kind of walked down the back gangway, the back ramp, and is just trying to look through this snowstorm. Can't hardly see his hand in front of his face, and doesn't see anything in any direction that would indicate a structure or a ship or any sign of life.
Yeah, it's thick. It's thick and super no visibility. And slowly, Cham sort of walks behind you and says, "It's that direction." He kind of points, and he's got like a sack on his back with some stuff in it.
Let's go.
And he turns to you and says, "Well, what do we do with Rye?"
Should one of us stay behind with her?
And they look to you, Miller.
No, we've done as much as we can. She's got heat. She's got air. We gotta get... Fuck!
And Rye's like looking at you like...
What do you want me to do, Rye?
And like Cham sort of almost knowingly like walks out back and sort of just looks away, sort of pretending that he's not seeing what he's seeing.
So Wyatt, is she dying?
No, I think she's just like fucked up and freeze. Like she's like huddled next to a heater and like, you know, with a mask on, that if she takes the mask off, she's like fucked and freezing. I think she's just scared. And she's also cold and alone. It doesn't mean she's dead if you leave her here. Just it feels like a death sentence to her.
With the way that we rig this heater up for Rye, are we going to have to make periodic checks to see if it holds?
No, I mean, if you stay
Okay.
here, no, I think it'll be okay.
Okay, it was done well enough that it in and of itself is stable.
Yeah, hopefully.
Okay.
And what's the charge like on these suits?
You're using your oxygen and all that kind of stuff. You're probably at like, I mean, there's rolls and stuff for all that. I'm gonna say you're at, I don't know,
How many hours?
70%. How many
I'm
hours?
guessing maybe an hour and a half.
Yeah, probably an hour and a half.
Okay, so we're probably all dead. So, fuck it. Miller's like, you guys head out there right now. It's in that direction. Cham, don't let Miller out of your sight. Or fucking, that's my name. Wilson. Don't let Wilson out of your sight. And then she goes back up onto the ship for a second to Rye.
And Cham sort of takes a few steps and is like, we need to wait for her. She's not going to find it. I'm the one with the tracker. And he like holds up this like location thing. But they're far enough away that you're sort of alone with Rye right now.
Listen. Pulls off her helmet.
You could do it for a minute if you wanted.
Because she can hear me. I have a helmet on.
You can, well, you have comms.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I mean, she's got like the head comm, right? Because she was in the ship, like piloting it.
There's a lot of headgear. So Miller like kneels down next to Rye, who's huddled in front of this broken ass heater with her oxygen mask on. Listen, Rye. We're gonna go to the Kronos, we're gonna find help, and we're gonna make it back. I'm gonna see you in an hour, right? You just try to take it easy. Don't breathe too much. We've been in worse scrapes before. I mean, we fucking haven't, but it's gonna be okay.
Okay. Why don't you give her just sort of a social...
I have a empathy?
Yeah, perfect. Empathy. Or you could do command if you want.
I succeed and I panic.
Which makes sense.
What does the success look like?
Let's see what the panic is first, because I don't remember all of them. I want to make sure that doesn't influence the result.
That's a 7, for which I believe nothing happens.
You have a tick, I think. You're just like another nervous tick or something.
Oh yeah, so her stress level goes up and my stress level goes up.
Oh, so she's more stressed now too. She's like, okay. But you've made her feel comfortable. I guess she like trusts you. She's like, okay.
And then I head back out. Time's a wasting.
And you can see Cham and Wilson are like waiting outside a little bit for you. And Cham sort of, you can tell, a look on his face, is like too nervous to ask as the three of you start heading off into the blizzard. Cham is taking the lead and you're pushing through, and it feels like the snow is high enough to reach your knees. And as you continue pushing on, you eventually see it. Almost, it looks like the side of a mountain at first. The Kronos looms over you as you approach. The height of the big flat side is menacing as you approach. You see the back part of it, the large gate sitting there. And on the main floor, there are 4 airlocks that can be open, and Cham walks up to one immediately and starts pulling it and hammering the keypad, digs out a little bit of snow, and then reaches into his rucksack and pulls out the laser cutter, laser that he was using.
Fire wand.
And he's going to roll to open it.
While he's doing that,
Yeah.
Wilson's gonna move over to one of the other airlocks. I'm assuming it's just within like arm's reach or close by.
They're pretty far. They're like on 4 corners of the massive ship.
Okay, and
It'd be out of visual, but you can definitely do it.
no. If he's already trying to cut it open, I was going to try to use my access card to see if the ship would just let us in.
No, I mean it's pretty far away from him, but you like casually try to swipe it, but nothing happens. It looks like the power is not on necessarily in the ship. He kind of fails at cutting it, and he's like, "Fuck, it's too cold. Can you try?" And he like hands it off to one of you two.
All right. I take it.
And he'll give you a +2 to try.
And what am I rolling?
You're going to be rolling heavy machinery.
With 4 panic die. Great.
Oh, you succeed in panic.
I succeed and stunt and panic. I keep it together.
Good.
Just. And my stunt for heavy machinery is that I do a good job and everyone's proud of me.
And the door sort of opens and...
That wasn't it, actually.
Cham, what?
I just made that up.
Oh,
that was a fake
I'm
stunt.
And Cham grabs one side as Miller, you grab the other, and you pull the door open as you see inside for the first time the Cronus, and you enter in. The second doors open much easier with the push of a button and shut behind you, shutting out the icy cold as you each turn around and see that you are standing in the massive garage of the Cronus.
My stunt was that it's quiet.
Okay, it is quiet. Oh, opening the door. Yeah, it was, surprisingly so. You see the inside of the Cronus. It's massive cargo bay. You see RVs, ATVs rather, lying on their sides almost haphazardly. They weren't secured properly, obviously. You see chains sort of dangling from the roof of the garage. You hear the wind whistling outside, and Cham immediately sort of tapping on his thing says, I don't think the air is, it's better, but it's not much more breathable than out there. Although he's like, look, and he shows you, and it's like it's like high concentration of carbon dioxide. So it's possible. It's easier to breathe in here for sure. And you can see that there is light in here. It's just weak emergency light. As you sit and for a moment take in awe of the ship that sits before you. And we're going to stop there for the mid-game post. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Invictus stream. My name is always is Mr. Harlan Guthrie. I'm here for the first time with Mr. Tim Tabor.
Hello.
So happy to have you with us tonight, Tim. You're doing a fantastic job.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you. Yeah, no, it's a completely different thing when you play around the table with some friends versus like camera and having to keep up with it. Like this brings on a whole new level of respect for what you guys put on.
It's pretty intense, and we do it with such quality. And of course, we're here with the lovely Joe as always.
Hello, everyone.
How's everybody out there in La La Land doing? Hope you're enjoying the game so far. This is, of course, Alien Reverence. Reverence. This is a single one-shot RPG based on the system that is recently released by Free League Publishing, I believe. They're the company that did Tales from the Loop. And this is our little spin around with the rules system to see what kind of stories we can concoct. So thank you so much if you're watching us and hanging out. If this is your first Invictus stream, welcome. This is what we do. It's, of course, an 18-plus show. We say a lot of no-no words, such as pee-pee and poo-poo and dada and ding-dong. If you're watching this on YouTube, please give it a thumbs up. That makes us feel really, really good. If you're watching this on any number of platforms that Tim knows about and I don't, also do whatever you do on those platforms, because those are cool things. If you are a viewer or a new person, make sure you join us on the Facebook group and the Discord. The Discord is where we're all chatting. People are sharing hilarious little images that they've edited together of me with an alien mouth, which is kind of sexy. And it's where we're talking directly and getting a little bit of your feedback. And the Facebook group is where we sort of chat during the week. It's where we share ideas and thoughts and our own RPG experiences. Also, when you're part of the Facebook group, you have a chance of winning the most valuable post. The most valuable post is the post of the week that we distinguish amongst the rest. We say, hey, you did really good this week. You posted something that started a bit of a conversation or was funny or sort of shared some RPG highlights. And we have a chance to, announce the winner on stream. This week, I would like to give the MVP to Mr. Jason Griffin, who I believe is here with us tonight. I saw him on the Discord. Funnily enough, he's like, oh, it's the first time I'm going to get to join a stream live. And he won. He posted, again, a fun little community game where name your favorite guilty pleasure movie, a song that you're embarrassed to like, or something like that. And it was a nice little way to, again, promote that sense of community that we always try so hard. Was
it like a little light hors d'oeuvre sort of?
It was a amuse-bouche
discussion.
But yeah, so that is us. If you are watching us for the first time, you might not know that Tim is a new member, sort of. Tim has joined us for tonight, but Tim does a slew of other things. Tim, why don't you tell the people what you do?
Oh, so many things. Most recently, about 2.5-3 months ago, started a production media company, or media production company, and we're based here out of Las Vegas. We run a 24/7 simulcast on all major streaming platforms, and it is called RetroFizz. We do a little bit of everything: old school gaming, new school gaming, and kind of everything in between. We've got some talk shows that we do, and we like I said, you can find us on YouTube, you can find us on Twitch. We primarily hang out over on the Mixer channel. So if you guys are out and about that way, make sure you swing by, check us out, drop us a follow if you like us, and yeah, like I said, we're really excited to have the opportunity to work with these wonderful people with the INVICTUS stream. I've been with the INVICTUS community now for, God, how long has it been, Harlan? 3 years?
Far too
Almost
long.
3 years.
In the best way possible. Yeah. And in fact, some people should know this, but these lovely die that show up on the top of our screen, this INVICTUS program, this was written by Tim. He is the person who gave us all these amazing sound effects that we get to use. Stream.
I've always been a behind the scenes kind of guy. I do the tech stuff. I do the stuff that takes a good stream or a good production and gives it that extra little wow factor.
Absolutely.
And you do it well.
Oh, thank you.
So yeah, that's Tim. Make sure you follow RetroFizz and hang out with them. They do a lot of awesome, cool retro gaming. He promised me that I can play Lost Vikings on it. Yeah.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Wink,
we haven't done that one yet.
I know, it's one of my favorite games. And Zelyard, which I read to my son every night.
What about Dragon Warrior?
Dragon, I don't know what that is. And
or fucking.
Can I do the old? Oh, you know what I want to do? The old Treasure Mountain. Remember the searching with the little guy with the red hat?
Monkey Island?
Gizmos and Gadgets.
Oh.
No? I'll do those.
Gizmos, you mean Treasure Mountain?
Yeah, like the learning company. Those like
Yeah, Morty. And the Master of Mischief.
Mordecai. Yeah, that dude. I'm gonna do all those.
Yeah, anyway, I remember those.
Tim does.
Midnight Rescue.
Yeah, Midnight Rescue, that's right.
That was one of my favorites.
So yeah, check him out, and hopefully he'll be joining us for a few more. It's time for the mid-game post. This is the time where we stop the action and we jump to you, the community, and we say, hey, you want to play a little bit of game? What should tonight's game question be? Something in theme. Should it be about the original Alien movie?
I think it should be about the franchise.
Shouldn't be a question about the game, but a question about.
Does her cat have a name?
She calls it Shithead. Yeah, it does.
Does it?
Yeah.
Cat name?
I don't remember it, but I know it does. It's like.
People are just gonna fucking Google it though.
Yeah, that's true. Don't Google. No, we'll ask them about tonight's game. Let's say, what was the name of... what was the name of the person in the Kronos lifeboat? Because they did say it on. Is that too tough?
Ooh, that's a good one.
No, that's too tough.
I think I wrote it down.
If Rin was here, she would know.
Yeah, no, that's too tough. Okay, let's do.
Name all the people.
Name of the ship.
Name of the ship and all 4 crew.
Not Kronos, but the ship that's gone.
My old ship.
Ship that's gone bye-bye. What was the name of the ship that's gone bye-bye? There's your question. If you answer that correctly, you'll enter a pool. We'll roll a die. You win that. You get XP. What's so funny?
It's just your phrasing.
What was the name of the ship that's gone bye-bye? What's wrong with that?
You clearly have a 2-year-old.
Oh, ouch. Woof.
Bye-bye, ship. Bye-bye. Say bye-bye, ship.
Yes.
Bye-bye, ship.
Can confirm.
Yep.
You have a 2-year-old as well?
She is, well, our oldest is about to be 7, and our youngest will be 1 year in about a month and a half.
That's
My
right.
God.
I remember when you had the second.
How many? You have 2?
I have 2.
Lucky.
Horrible. Whoa, Zia got all of them. Valkyrie, Cham, Miller, Wilson, Ryan. Is that all of them?
Yep.
Damn. Yeah, I think Zia's gonna.
All right, Zia. Way to not leave any for
You know
anyone
what?
else.
Just Zia can have it.
Just fucking take our XP, Zia. God damn it.
Joke on it. You know, we also have Mixer, I think, but I don't really use it.
You do. I occasionally will dip in there and watch on Wednesdays just because I have I'm always on the platform. We're partnered on the platform, so we get a little bit few extra perks there. But
Hey, go watch
no,
some Mixer, people.
What?
well, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna build you up on Mixer too.
Why do you build me up?
Buttercup baby, just to let me down.
Let me down.
Mess me around, and worst of all, never call baby when you say you will.
Mixer will. See, the point of doing a song like that is to be funny and add like Mixer in.
Oh,
But I wasn't clever enough to do it.
I
so
didn't
it's
even realize there was a point other than sing a song with my boyfriend.
Like, yeah, no, I was just like, it's gonna do the thing. You're gonna do the thing. Cool. It's so hot in here.
I know. I'm gonna have another beer. Are you gonna judge me?
Not if I can have another beer. I think it's universally proven that beers make the streams go round.
This is true, especially the back half of them.
Oh, especially these beautiful beers from Chronicle Brewery. What is this? A faster than light lager featuring this is the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, that's who we're partnered with. But we get beer every once in a while. Would you hand me a Chronicle beer, my love? I'll take. What?
Gen Con.
Oh yes.
I was gonna ask on that faster than light lager. Was that the Eagle 5?
Yeah.
I saw the Millennium Falcon. That was also the Eagle 5 on there.
Yeah, that's you're talking from
Spaceballs.
Spaceballs. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah,
I have
yeah,
like
yeah.
a few things flying on that.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, we're doing Gen Con this year. Tim, are you going to Gen Con?
I'm not going to Gen Con. No. Next thing I'm going to be popping up at. We've got one of our team members that's going to be at the Halo Discovery Outpost thing in Orlando in a few weeks. But it's a big Halo convention thing they're doing in a bunch of different cities this year. It looks really, really cool. They have little Halo themed mini games you can play while you're there, but essentially it's just like a big Halo themed convention. And then the next convention I'm going to be at is going to be PAX West.
Ooh,
Nice.
we should go to PAX one time.
Yeah,
I'm hoping to be able to see oh crap, their name I'm gonna feel like such a tool if I don't remember them.
describe it.
Acquisitions Incorporated.
Ah, yes.
Who's that?
It's a live role-playing game
Oh.
venture. It's the
Well,
most.
I've literally never even heard about that. So you're one.
That's
It's like
that's
below
sad because
Critical Role, but
Oh, is it?
yeah.
I haven't even watched Critical Role.
It's funny. Acquisitions Incorporated is actually how I found the Invictus stream.
Really?
Yeah, it was. I was watching one of their shows they put on at PAX West, and I had run through all the episodes, and it was one of the very first Call of Cthulhu campaigns. Was just like this is what's playing next on YouTube, and I watched it, and I was like, holy crap, these guys are good.
Must have been someone else. That's cool though. I never even heard of them. I'm a bad, what's it called, person. But we're going to Gen Con, and it's going to be a lot of fun. You also, I got to phrase this properly. I like Halo, but I am honestly surprised at the amount of pull that has for its own thing. Like, what are there, 4 games?
It's there's 5 now. Well, 5 core games. And then you've got Halo Infinite's the next one to be released, and then you've got all the spin-offs like the ODST and all of that fun stuff.
I just mean, like, and again, this is not against Halo, but I mean, like, BlizzCon, they got all Blizzard games, and fucking, I don't know, other con.
PaizoCon?
Whatever that is.
It's just for Pathfinder.
Well, that's big too, I guess.
It's very big.
I just mean to say that I am surprised that Halo is big enough and rich in story enough to warrant its own con type thing.
I mean, consider though,
con, but,
like Breakout is relatively small, and it's its own convention. I mean,
plus you've got Microsoft Studios that's backing this. They're not afraid to throw just a veritable crap ton of money at something they feel like is going to benefit the franchise.
But, like, to me, it's maybe this is just me, but I don't even remember what Halo was about story-wise. Do you?
I remember people freaking out about the physics because it was one of the first games that really, like, you could interact with a vast majority of the objects in the game, whether they were, yeah, right?
Halo ones?
We need to sit you down for a Halo night, Harlan.
I never had a bad time with it. I remember renting the 3rd one and Justin and I playing through it co-op. I think, if that's the right game. But I just remember, like, out of the games that I remember defining the Xbox, I think I liked Gears of War a lot more. And to me, the story of Gears of War, from what I remember, was really, really cool. Because that was, like, about underground creatures that, like, emerged. And it was, like, the Emergence Day. I don't even remember the story of Halo. I remember there being a big ring.
Ooh, I can push your jealousy button a little bit. I got to play quite a bit of Gears 5 when I was at E3.
Oh, is that a good game?
Oh, it's so good. I am very excited for its release.
I meant to say that I liked it. I actually didn't. I haven't played. I don't think I played the 3rd one, but I did like it. I'm not trying to shit on it at all, and I am jealous nonetheless because I'm a jealous person. It's just in my nature. But there's a bunch of E3 stuff that I did really want to. Did you get to do any like cyberpunk stuff?
I did. CD Projekt Red brought us in. We got to do a behind closed door session with them and got to see an extended, like 30, 45 minute first look at the game.
Did you get to hug Keanu Reeves?
I did not get to hug Keanu Reeves, unfortunately. No, he was being inundated by fans and being shuffled out back doors somewhere. And no, it was really, really cool though, because it was like, oh, cyberpunk, surprise Keanu Reeves. And yeah, I mean, that was, I don't want to sound like the company man for Microsoft or anything. We'll keep it in game, but no, I think Microsoft killed it this year. They really brought the A game to E3, and they I feel like they filled that gap that Sony left. Like, Sony not being there was just this huge void of, well, we're not going to get to see as much. And Microsoft's like, actually, we're just gonna up our A game and double our efforts. And sure enough, like they brought the
I think
fire,
it was
man.
Keanu Reeves is like totally unexpected. But what? So okay. Let's say there's like a big, I don't know, what's a big franchise? Like Fallout. Let's say Fallout 5 comes out. What would be your dream celebrity cameo, Joe and Tim? What would you like if you could play any character besides David Attenborough?
Damn it.
Who would you want? Richard?
No, it's David.
David Attenborough. Would be the person that you'd like as a playable and as a companion. Because I could totally go for something like, there's obvious ones, like Samuel L. Jackson. It's like, oh, who wouldn't love playing with Samuel Jackson? I want like some obscure shit.
Okay, all right, I got one for you. Steve Buscemi.
Oh, that'd be weird. That would be weird, actually.
I was gonna say Mike Myers, kind of a similar vein.
Yeah, very quirky, very oddball sort of thing. Now, on the opposite side of that,
But
if
in
you
a
wanted
serious
to go, like,
game.
yeah, no, if you wanted to go, the serious route, Bruce Willis all the
No,
way.
but I mean like Steve Buscemi in like a serious game, and like Mike Myers as like the Keanu Reeves
Yeah.
character in the Cyberpunk, where he's like, "Come with me, baby." You're like,
yeah,
just fucking what? What is this fucking thing? Bruce Willis would be good, and he'd probably do it for the fucking money. That guy does everything now. He's just
Serena Williams.
the tennis player.
Yeah.
ooh, wow, that'd be a good pick.
Honestly, and I don't
Right?
mean this in a bad way. I just don't know anything about tennis. I wouldn't know unless someone said, "Oh, Serena Williams is," but oh, I just don't know. I don't even know what she looks like, to be honest.
She fuck you up.
She probably would fuck me up.
Dustin in chat said Willem Dafoe. That would also be a really good pick.
Oh, that made me so uncomfortable playing him. I'd be like,
Zia says Jet Li.
Jet Li would be cool.
Yes.
Jackie Chan. I would totally play a Jackie Chan video game. But not a video game about the person. Like they're playing a role in a video. Like again, Fallout 5 with Jackie Chan. You're like walking the wasteland and Jackie Chan is like, I shouldn't do an Asian accent. It's gonna come across as racist. But like you're walking across and you know that's, or Clint Eastwood, although he's fucking, I was gonna say Clint Eastwood's dead. He's not dead.
But are you saying
should be.
like the characters that Jackie Chan plays or Jackie Chan the human being?
The character. Because like what Keanu Reeves is doing. Keanu Reeves is playing a character. He's not playing himself.
Bill Murray.
Oh my god.
Nice.
Yes. Bill Murray as like a teddy bear.
In either role, as himself or as a character.
I kind of like him as a character. Could you imagine him being like, oh, you know, well, they brought me here and I don't even know what to do.
I mean,
He's
you
just
guys
so
saw
good.
You guys saw the announcement that they're doing they're remastering the Ghostbusters
Yes,
video game.
I did.
Yes.
And I played that.
Yes.
It was actually really good.
Yeah.
The Ghostbusters
That's-
video game was basically Ghostbusters 3. They had all
Yes.
the original cast before Harold Ramis died. It was actually a really cool continuation. Betty White. Owen Wilson. Wow.
I want Betty
Owen.
White.
Wow.
I want Betty White to be like the big bad NPC at the end.
That would be cool. Well, you know, Sean Bean actually is one of the killable characters in Hitman.
Aw, Sean.
Yeah, they're like, and Nick Nolte was in it too, actually.
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Oh, Carrie Elwes, yeah. Catherine, why
that's
she's
another
come
good
up
one.
so much lately? She just can't get enough. Joan Cusack. Now she's someone I'd want
Hey.
in the game. Of all the people to be jealous of, Joan fucking Cusack.
Don't you dare. Oh, fucking Jack Black.
Oh, hey, he's in a video game.
Is he?
Yeah, he's the main
in,
character in
yeah.
Brutal Legend.
Shut up.
Yeah,
He plays a guitar wielding fucking.
course.
It's actually a good video game. We gotta
So-
play that.
yeah.
That'd be good. Anyway,
We've stalled long enough.
I tried. Now back to the real game. Oh, last cameo that was real. The character that I thought was really good, and I want to play it with you. This is what made me think about it. Was oh fuck, what's his name? The guy who plays J. Jonah Jameson.
What? Who?
The guy who plays J. Jonah Jameson. Spider-Man. You know that dude from Whiplash. That dude.
Oh God, what's his
Bald guy.
Yeah. I know.
J.K. Simmons. J.K.
J.K.
Simmons.
Yes.
He's
Yeah.
He plays the announcer main character. I don't remember the character's name in Portal 2. And he
Yes.
does it so fucking good. That killed that game for me when he was doing all the announcements and shit. It's so funny.
Ian McKellen.
Cave Johnson here.
Yeah, Cave Johnson. That's the character's name. When life gives you lemons. No, that's not that. What's that from? What's the?
You know, when life gives you lemons, you make life take the lemons back. You hire a team of people to turn those lemons into hand grenades, and you throw it at life.
That's right. I was gonna quote, "When life gives you lemons, say fuck lemons and bail." What's that from?
You take those lemons and you clone them and you make super lemons.
That sounds just delicious.
That's from Clone High.
There's 3 lemon quotes, but what's the second one from? When life gives you lemons, you say fuck lemons and bail. I don't know what that's from now. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we return to Alien Reverence. We return to Alien Reverence. Most of the vehicles that complement the Cronus are missing. Only 2 ATVs sit on board, both looking broken down, lying on their sides haphazardly. It's clear that they weren't secured properly whenever the ship last tried to take flight. Looking up, you see the catwalk and loading crane high above on the sea deck. Deep shadows are cast everywhere from the dim emergency lighting. There are many places to hide. This bay seems like a relatively unaffected area. It just looks like it's dusty, relatively disused. And as you turn on your lights from your helmets and look around the bay, an uncomfortable feeling sits in the pit of your stomach.
Are we in the D deck?
Yes. Now, Wilson, you have schematics from the ship.
Yes, I am actually pulling those up as we speak.
You want
So
to in character
Wilson's
give them to everybody?
yeah, so Wilson has, he's been, at least he feels like he's been fairly extensively briefed on the ship itself. Not so much the mission behind what got them to where they are now, but he's beginning to gain a feeling of normalcy, a familiarity. Would probably be a better way to describe it, because he's looking around and he's seeing the exact same deck that he saw inside the hollow room back at headquarters. And so, he's looking around and things are disheveled and they're out of place. But the general feel is familiar to him, and he's beginning to get his bearings. And he kind of wanders over to Captain Miller, and just kind of sees her standing there, just looking around and taking it all in. And he looks at her and he's all, hey, if you want, I can work with Cam. We can get over to engineering and see if life support's working, or if we can even get the ship turned on.
Absolutely, great idea. In the
So then-
meantime, I will scout for survivors.
Captain, you sure you want to do that? Sort of casts around at the ship. We don't exactly know what happened here. I don't want to be nervous or anything like that, but maybe we should stick together.
Yeah, okay. We just need to get life support going, and then we can get Rye back here. Where's engineering?
So we need to get up to I believe it's C deck. We need to get up to C deck, and it's towards the rear of the ship. And he kind of points up over his head, over by the catwalks, and you can kind of see doors off to the side where all it is marked with a number, but you can kind of see where he's pointing at. And he looks back to them and says, there should be service stairs off to the side over here. Or we can try to go the long way and go back towards the bridge of the ship, and there's a passageway that leads up there as well.
No, time is of the essence. And she points at the western doors. Let's take these.
The western doors. So you've entered through engine pod 1.
Oh.
You see the airlock, sort of the northwest entrance?
Yep.
That's where you've entered through.
So I'm looking at the, there's like a little opening directly below that.
Yeah, those are the elevators.
Okay. And then below that.
That's another airlock.
So where are the stairs?
So the stairs, there's a lift, there are sort of catwalks that lead to C deck, which then lead to the stairs. This is sort of a large open area. Basically, everything above what you see, that little bottom section, is all open, whereas that second section goes up a level. But as you walk forward, Cham sort of turns towards those elevators, and one of them is still open. He dips his head in and looks up and points to a ladder. I think this might lead straight up. That'd be the fastest way.
Go take a look.
Okay. The inside of the Cronus is freezing. It's just as cold as outside. You can see the frost blooming on the inside of your helmets as you all move around silently. He climbs down and walks across the bottom of the elevator shaft and starts climbing a ladder, looking up. Yeah, I think this will work.
Wilson?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Once we're up on C deck, all we need to do is find the reactor relay control, and we should be able to cut power on from there.
Let's go.
So, hand over hand, you start climbing up the ship. You're going just to C deck?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah.
He says with not as much confidence.
We have reactor relay control, coolant tanks. This is all like OOC knowledge, obviously.
This goes straight up to, well, you guys all have I'm assuming Wilson shared the map.
Wilson?
I mean, he doesn't
Yes.
have to.
I can share this with you guys, and I'm assuming that this is in some sort of digital format that reads out within the suits, or
we'll do
on
like
some sort of device.
comm things, yeah.
Yeah. So send I send the schematics over to him. Quick share. And kind of, on there it within the visor it kind of overlays and gives you the you are here dot. And then I adjust a couple more dials on my suit, on the control panel of my suit, and I kind of mark the C2 junction on the south side of the ship. This is kind of where we are right now. And then once we get up through the ladder, marking another place over by the reactor relay controls to indicate where we need to go.
And Cham sort of shakes his head and says, "Listen, company man, we can try for the reactor, but ultimately we just might need to turn on a switch. The ship doesn't seem that damaged. Shouldn't we head for the bridge first?" And he sort of looks past him on the ladder down to you, Captain.
Keep climbing. We'll go up to B deck.
And then he's like, "Aye." And they start climbing back up, hand over hand, until you reach the C deck area, and you hear something. It's like a boop, 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 boop.
Does anyone know what that sound is?
Oh, fuck. Cham sort of turns around and reaches into his sack and pulls out a motion detector. It's picking up movement on the C deck. He sort of stands with one arm on the ladder, holding the motion detector out to the open elevator shaft towards the deck. Boop, boop. Stopped.
Can you tell what direction it's coming from?
Just seems like it's this way. You see the motion detector is sort of a half circle and different increments of how far away it is, and the blip just seems to have left maybe 30 feet. You moving?
Let's keep going.
Again, you continue to climb until eventually you reach the B deck. Cham pours out first into the living area, a tight hallway that sort of stretches forward into the darkness. Again, the shadows cast by the helmets that you have seem uncomfortable, the dim sort of emergency lighting that lines the hallways. He steps out and helps each of you out until you're standing together in the hallway.
I should ask what kind of weapons we have.
Cham has nothing. You, I presume, have nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I usually go equipped with guns or anything. I would like to keep my eyes open for any kind of arms.
Wilson, do you have anything?
Nothing that I wish to disclose at this time.
On the grounds that you may be incriminated.
Perfect. So yeah, you enter the tight corridor, which is a living area. You have the map.
So Wilson steps out from the stairwell area where the ladder's at, and just starts looking around. He can see the individual crew quarters off to the right, and To the left, he can't quite see it, but he knows, like I said, he knows this map. He knows this ship. He knows that the mess hall is going to be just around the corner. He knows that the med lab is just a little bit further down the hall, and he wants to see what's happened to the crew, but at the same time, he doesn't want to leave the safety of his companions. And so he right now he's still kind of being quiet. Answer when spoken to, but a lot of his decisions right now are based around what the captain thinks we should do.
All right. Let's get up to the bridge. Time is wasting.
You move down the tight corridor from the living area to the north end of the ship, passing through doors. Some of them seem open. And as you approach the bridge, you see something that chills you. On the right side, outside of the first vestibule, you see a streak of what looks to be almost black blood along the wall. Cham shines his light against it, bends down, and sort of touches it as it crumbles to dust. Frozen and icy cold in the still atmosphere, he looks up towards you. I think it's blood.
I don't like it. We don't have any other choice. Keep your eyes peeled.
You continue moving forward to the bridge, and as you enter, you can tell the bridge is sort of has a faint standby illumination. It's eerily glowing orange. In the center of the room, there's a large hollow display table, a comm station, tech station, sensor station, 2 pilot seats, and a command station up on the top of the bridge. The blast shutters are lowered, shut tight around the viewports. You also notice that there is soot on the ceiling, burn marks scorched onto the hollow table in the center of the room.
What do you think did this? This doesn't look like it's a mechanical failure.
Cham sort of nervously spins around to the door you entered through.
Pirates, maybe? I haven't seen too much looting.
No, there's way too much here that's intact for this to be pirates. Pirates would have stripped this ship down to the nuts and bolts, and we wouldn't be standing here.
Cham, can you access the command station, please?
Oh, okay.
Let's try to get this thing online.
Yeah. He walks up and starts sort of playing around with it. He's like, there's no power. It needs to be turned on. Do you want me to turn on the power?
Yes, Cham.
Okay. And he sort of nervously walks around towards the bridge and steps up and turns on a few things. And suddenly, you can hear the whirring of gears. Dim light begins to sort of raise. As the lights come on, powers up, you can hear the reactor hum in the ship deep below. The life support systems sort of kick on. Already you can feel the temperature sort of gauge a little higher as you can see heat pouring from the vents. A haze of vapor sort of begins filling the corridors. And
how much fuel do we have?
I don't know. Hold on. And he starts walking around. Do you want me to check the command station or do you want me to check the fuel?
Shut up, Cham.
What do you mean, shut up? I'm fucking doing everything that you want me to do.
Wilson's going to take an opportunity to interrupt and ask, Mother, are you there?
There's like a slagging, like, oh, yes. Hello.
So part of Wilson's briefing on this was that he noticed that this ship does have its own copy of Mother. It's not quite as sophisticated as the one that was on the Valkyrie. I believe it's the 2000 model, not the 6000.
No, it's not actually, and I made an error. Apologies. The Mother is functioning. It is only able to be interfaced directly within its mainframe. My apologies. There is no answer, but you do know this, knowing it's an older model.
Okay, so we'll walk that back and say that Wilson walks over to the comms terminal, and or the comms station, and just brings up a console prompt and enters that query and just Mother, are you there?
So
and enters the command in.
To be more frustrating, apologies, but if you look on the A deck, the Mother actual mainframe is above you. It's on a deck above you. So you have to. It's the way these ships work. Weirdly enough, is that the mainframes, the same way that when Miller interacted with Mother at your desk, she went into a separate room for it. So Mother is like a weird sequestered room that you have to interact with her, especially with the older models. The newer models,
I just know Wilson is going to have a lot to say at his next employee review. That's all I'm going to say. That the training is substandard.
My apologies.
Okay, but it looks like there's a junction just below the bridge that leads up to junction A1 on A deck. That should bring us to Mother. Yes?
Yes. You can easily get to it, yeah.
So Wilson then looks at everybody and suggests, "Hey, we should go check with Mother, and maybe she can tell us about something about what happened to the ship."
As the lights come up, the bridge sort of is filled with the regular operating lights. You see a figure sitting at station 1 of the pilot seats.
Hello?
Cham, who's actually standing beyond it, turns around. His face goes white behind his helmet. Oh, fuck. And he turns around as if to suppress vomit. The figure sits unmoving with its back towards you.
So Wilson's going to walk over and put his hand on the back of the chair and slowly start to spin it around.
You see the frozen corpse of a woman, her chest opened, her face gaunt with time. She is still strapped to the pilot's seat. And as you turn her away from it, you turn your eyes away to sort of finally see the true state of the bridge. You see dried, frozen blood across the floor. You see an axe in the terminal station across from her. Her terminal sits relatively unused. There's no power to it right now, but there's an axe in the other one, and her chest is literally broken from the inside out as Cham is sort of breathing behind his helmet on all fours beyond you.
I'm going to go ahead and do a stress roll for Wilson.
Everybody can do a stress roll who saw that.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and scream. Just scream. I made it again.
Good job.
Just barely. I would really like to take a moment to consider my vest.
Sure. I think I would say before now you probably would have taken a moment. So you can take a stress chill.
So I also passed mine. Wilson, good. It turns his stomach to see what's in front of him, and there's a million things racing through his mind right now. What caused this? Where's the rest of the crew? What could have happened to whoever this was that's sitting in front of him? But earnestly, deep down inside, he knew going into this mission that the crew hasn't made contact in 5 years and likely would not be alive when we got here, just based off the math and the rations. And so he was kind of already bracing and anticipating seeing death on this mission. But he's still kind of taken aback that, it was that grotesque.
And as you're taken aback and the power is sort of continually going to all subsystems, Mother, while not an interactive console, does give status updates, and all she says is, "Warning, cryo chambers deactivated."
Okay. I mean, great.
Cham walks over to the command station. Now that the power is on, begins plugging away, nervously trying to avert his eyes. Why the fuck is there an axe in the pilot station?
Miller takes 4 long strides and heaves the axe out of the dash.
Nice. Give me a strength roll.
Okay.
Just because it was cool, but I also want to make sure it worked. I am strong.
Do you want me to roll stress with that?
You is, no.
I fail.
Okay.
I try to pull the axe out of the dash, and
I think it takes like 20, or not 20, but it takes a few.
Can I maybe like dislodge some near vital piece of equipment while I pull the axe out and it not take 5 minutes?
Sure. You can't. The ship is broken. No, I'm just kidding.
Confirm.
And after a few, you get the accent. That's fine. And after a few clacks,
So why did you make me roll?
Well, fine. You don't get it then. That's the truth.
Then I don't get it.
Well, you don't.
I'd also like to. I'd like to do an observation roll on the body a little bit further.
Yeah.
Now that there's Wilson's had a few moments to kind of let his stomach kind of settle back in place. He's very one of his mission objectives is he was supposed to find out, like, he's supposed to talk to the crew, and since he can't talk to the crew, obviously he needs to find out what happened, like why these Weyland-Yutani employees are dead. And so I'd like to just do an observation to see if I can figure out who this is or what importance or what role they had on the Kronos.
Yeah, sure. Give me that.
And then we'll do that and that. So pass and a panic with some panic.
But you also pass with an additional. I will tell you right away. You can tell that this is a pilot. By their name tag says Bain, Bein.
Bein. Okay.
And is a woman, obviously. From the wound on her chest, it looks like something like a small detonating device exploded from within her. And as you're sort of surveying this, trying to keep your lunch down, which makes sense why you sort of panic a bit, Cham speaks up. The command station, it has a report on it. Do you want me to read this?
Yes, please.
It says, listen, and Wilson, it says, landed on LV-1113. Atmosphere made transmission impossible. Prep science module to be launched into space to broadcast if needed. Entered the ruins. Found a number of eggs within living organisms. Dr. Cooper requested we bring them back on the ship for study. After transporting 3 to the ship, security officer Valeria Reed was attacked by one of the creatures within. We brought him back to the ship. In medbay, 2 additional eggs opened and latched themselves onto Dr. Cooper and pilot Bain. Creatures have acid for blood. Unfortunately, security officer Valeria Reed was killed when medical officer Flynn tried to remove it. His body was placed in cargo hold 2 for the time being. After 24 hours, the 2 remaining creatures died, fell off of Dr. Cooper and pilot Bain. After the casualty, the unknown creatures decided to return early. Cooper, myself, Clayton, and Flynn will enter cryosleep, leaving the captain, Ava, Bain, and Pinion to return to atmosphere. They'll be joining us slowly. Pinion, she's the woman that was in the transmission from the jettisoned capsule orbiting the planet, right?
I think that was her name.
And that's Bain lying there. That means Captain and Ava stayed out, and there are 4 people in cryo.
Probably.
So we should probably head down and get them out, right?
Didn't Mother just say that cryo was opening?
She said something about deactivated. Yeah.
All right. I'm not a zoologist. We see anything that's not human, we kill it. Got that?
Okay.
Do we need to go? Do they have an armory? Is there some kind of security office in here that we can check for weapons? Because I mean, you've got that axe.
You're the
and
expert,
that's
Wilson.
great.
Is there? What do you know about all this?
I don't remember ever seeing a security office. I just figured since you were the captain that you would know more about how the security on the ships were handled.
Well, in a ship of this size, there should be. You could expect some in every room. In fact, here's a gun right here, she said, pointing at a gun, hopefully.
No, but it says here on these blueprints you gave that armory. It looks like Vestibule 1 and Vestibule 2 will have armories. No, just Vestibule 1, sorry.
Great. It's right around the corner.
It's right there on the map. It's on the map that you were given that says armory.
Directly here. Let's go there.
It's almost like...
There's actually a flashing sign. Oh, now that the lights are up, there's a sign with a gun. This must be an American-made vessel. It says guns that way.
Yeah, gun, free gun with every
Let's
purchase.
go.
Let's come on the ship, you get a gun.
I've got guns right now. Where'd
Cham
this gun
is
come
like standing
from?
at the terminal. He's like, is there nothing else we need to know? Are we what's the plan here? Miller, what are we doing?
All right. Daffy we're not safe. We can't fly off of the planet with Daffy. Obviously, they can't fly off of the planet we're trapped here, right?
I think we could get this ship back up and running. I mean, I haven't seen anything that looks like major structural damage.
Let me check. And Cham walks over to the sensor station, and after a few minutes begins plugging away. Yeah, no, there's no structural damage. The thing is landed.
Yeah, they landed here. They didn't crash here. I think that this ship is perfectly capable of flying out. As a matter of fact, I think we should probably just go down to cryo, get the rest of the crew out, get them back up here. We'll get the ship up to speed, and let's get out of here. Let's go home.
Okay, but what about the aliens?
I haven't seen any aliens.
Whatever was in that woman's chest is probably frozen. It's below freezing in
Okay.
here, and it was for 5 years.
What about the motion detector?
I mean,
mean-
you're the captain. What do you want to do then?
Pull that motion detector out. Is there anything moving?
And he pulls it out.
How
I don't hear anything.
No, nothing? Let's go get some weapons right now.
Okay, now hold on. The comm array needs to be repaired and the engines need to be back online. I can repair the comm array from here.
We need some weapons.
Okay.
And then you can repair everything.
Okay.
Right, Wilson? You don't want some weapons?
And Wilson just kind of shuffles uncomfortably and just kind of like nods his head a little bit. Not really vocalizing, not really indicating one way or the other. He doesn't have a military background. Weapons and a little backstory. Weapons have always just kind of made him very nervous. He's not past using one if he needs to, but at the same time, it's not generally a first option that he goes for. His mindset right now is getting off the planet. He feels like this mission has gotten way above and beyond what way you said it was going to be, and he feels like he's just in a hurry to get off this planet and get home.
Let's go. And Cham pushes past Miller angrily.
Good.
And heads towards the armory.
Get one for me.
Can I do a while they're doing that?
Are you not going to the armory?
Yeah, I'll come with.
Yeah, what are you
Well,
doing,
well,
Wilson? So you're alone
well,
on the
the-
bridge
well,
right now, Wilson.
yeah. So while they're off securing weapons, I want to take a look at the comm station and do a comm tech roll. Again, having been briefed on the systems, and these are some older systems, so they're fairly well documented. And there's similar systems at headquarters because they never upgrade our equipment. So I want to take a stab at the comm station and see if there's anything I can do to bring it up online, if only just internal to the ship.
Yeah, okay. It works for the inside of the ship. Yeah, give me a roll actually.
Okay. And so success with the panic, and the panic is still keeping it together.
Nice.
Perfect. Yeah, you take take a look around. The actual console is working, but without the actual outside comm relays repaired, it doesn't seem to be able to broadcast anywhere, inside or out. But what you do realize is underneath one of the treadmill arms of the station, there's a small compartment that houses Mother's emergency access key to her area, and you grab that,
Okay.
assuming that you grab it.
Yes, presumably, yes. And
I don't steal. No.
so once I see the comm system is back up and going, I see that I see that we're still not getting comms off the ship, but I hop on the intercom. I push the button to speak to the ship-wide intercom system, and I yell into it and say, "Can anyone hear me?"
Okay. Yeah. It sounds throughout. Wait. Give me a roll first.
Okay. What do you want?
Let's just say
Survival.
Give me a
luck. Do we have luck?
Nope.
Let's do a coin flip.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Joe, you enter the armory.
Yeah.
It's stripped almost bare. It has a single Armat M41 pulse rifle with one reload left in it.
Some bullshit right there.
That's a rifle though.
One reload. Like how many?
Yeah, there's a case of shotgun shells on the floor.
But the shotgun shells don't go in the pulse rifle.
No. You do notice there is something sprayed on the wall. It's sort of a dried milky white spray.
Does it look similar to the yellow-white substance that I saw on the detached science vessel?
It does not.
Different milky white spray.
Yeah.
Wink.
Space is full of them.
We load up and head back to Wilson.
So just as you walk in, Wilson is on the comms and he's saying, "Hello, hello, hello." Did it work?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, you can hear it. It echoes throughout the entire ship. Hello, hello, hello. Loud, booming voice in every corner of the ship. And yeah, no response yet.
Okay, we cleaned out the armory. Doesn't make me feel much better, but if we think this thing is seaworthy, we can. How far away are we from our from the Daffy?
A mile.
Okay, so we can fly there in like a few seconds.
Oh yeah.
So my priority is fly to save Rye, get her on board, then explore the ship entirely, then fly away.
Okay, if we want to fly away, the comms need to be repaired, the comm relay, and the engines need to be turned on. Additionally, and no offense, Captain, But I think it makes more sense to take an ATV and pick up Ray and bring her back.
The ATVs are both broken.
It might make more sense to get this thing off the ground. I don't know how much energy, how much power she's going to have to stay in atmosphere. It makes more sense just to get up. And
Okay. Okay. So you're the mechanic. Did you want to repair the comms relay?
I can do whatever you need me to do, but most importantly, that terminal there says there's 4 people in cryo that might be waking up right now.
Well, I don't think that we should split up. So let's go down there and see if they know what's going on.
Ultimately, that's 4 more bodies that can help us repair this thing.
I agree, Captain. Like we need to see what's going on down there. And it's been what, 10 or 15 minutes, and we haven't seen or heard from anybody, and nobody's responding to the comm system. Like, we need to go check that out.
I guess up there. Sorry, it's above us, isn't it?
Up there, yes, it is.
Sham is like, I'm going, and he walks out of the room and starts climbing the junction A1 ladder towards the area above.
I mean, Mother is right there as well. Just a point.
Yes.
Okay, let's go down to cryo.
Up to cryo. That was my fault.
But it's south on the map, so that's why I keep saying down.
So you climb junction A1, and immediately Cham starts heading south towards the cryo area. Do you all follow? Yeah. Wilson too.
Wilson?
I hang back a little bit. I'm not. I mean, no, it's just again, talk of aliens. It's got him on edge, and
he's like,
he's
stitch.
eager to.
I gotta stitch. I gotta stitch. You guys, wait up or don't wait up. Go.
He is eager to find the rest of the crew because that's part of his mission. But no, he walks a little bit slower than everyone else. He lets them get a good 10, 15 paces ahead.
Perfect. As Cham gets to the door and Miller approaches next to him, you see that the main door of this area it looks like deep claw marks around the edge of the doorway. As if something was trying to scratch its way in. It looks like the door was locked at one point, but now with the power back on, Cham walks up and starts playing with the terminal. And after a few seconds, it opens. And you enter to see a number of cryo beds. Most of them are covered in frost, but leaking sort of steam as if about to open. Inside them, you can see the crew of Cronus, 4 of them at least. Most of them still sort of asleep. 2 have corpses in them. Sorry, 2 are empty. My apologies. And as we enter this room, it's sort of simultaneously the life support system lights are sort of drawing more and more power, and they all open. Slowly, the people begin waking up. Christ! Get their clothes, Miller. And he walks to the thing and grabs some clothes for the people.
Fuck. Find some like coveralls, personal effects.
Yeah, all their stuff are sort of in the next area. And after a few moments of like awkward waking up, you see a woman sitting up, maybe 40s. She has short blonde hair, and she looks towards you and says, "Who the fuck are you?"
Captain Vanessa Miller.
Captain of what?
Well, that's a great question. Captain of the Valkyrie.
Hold on, where's Captain Bull-Edgy?
Dead.
What? And
you're still on the planet.
The doctor sits up. He's wearing his sort of white lab coat still. Dr. Cooper, he's in his 50s. He's got glasses that he puts on his head immediately. His short gray hair swooped to one side. What do you mean we're still on the planet? We were supposed to leave.
The pilot didn't make it either.
A man in his 40s with a big beard sort of stands and walks over. He's got this submissive look to his face. Listen, guys, everyone just take a breath, okay? What are you talking about? Where's the captain? And you're not... What's going on? Just explain it to us.
Wayland Yutani sent us on a rescue mission. You disappeared 5 years ago. 2 weeks ago, we received a signal from the ship that is in orbit around this planet. The Science Bay, which was ejected. We came down here and it found you.
So, we're still here for 5 years?
Sorry.
What about... Well...
We were hoping that you could tell us what happened.
And they all sort of share a look. And the story they tell you is the same one the comms sort of relayed. And as they sort of tell you and get dressed and become more familiar, they each sort of share a knowing understanding that their goal is to get off this planet as well. And they talk to you about, like, you know, what they can do and how they can help and so on and so forth. Meanwhile,
as all this is happening,
yeah.
As all this happens, after they have their conversation, Wilson just kind of slowly appears in the doorway and kind of edges his way into the room, not really saying anything, but just kind of, you know, taking note, you know, and you know, just waiting. You know, he's just bracing for the mountain of questions, because he knows that since he's a representative of Wayu, that you know, he's fixing to feel the brunt of it.
And it seems like they're motivated just to get the fuck out of here. They're, especially the woman who's also from Wayland Yutani. She introduces herself as Clayton, Lori Clayton. She's the blonde woman, and she says she's a corporate liaison for Wayland Yutani. And this is a woman that you knew by name, probably the only one that you did. The other young man is a medic named Flynn. The second in command, second officer, was Johns, the one who wrote the log, and then there's the doctor. And as they each sort of look towards you, the captain, even the second in command, Johns, is a bit submissive as he turns towards you, Miller, and he's like, look, we just want to get the fuck out of here.
You and me both. Now, here's the situation. I have a crew member who is in our crashed shuttle, about a mile away. She doesn't have a suit. We need an extra for her. Someone has to go and get her. I'm not leaving her behind. Next, we have to get this ship up and running. That means, Cham, what do we need?
Oh, we need the comm relay repaired, and we need the engines back on.
Okay. Can we do that?
Johns, the second in command, is kind of like, yeah, I could probably do the comms. Yeah, I know enough about them. Cham says, you know, Captain, I should be the one to go get Rye. They don't know where she is, but I could use a hand repairing the RV.
All right. Anyone know anything about RVs?
Lori Clayton, sort of the suit, is kind of like, yeah, I can do a little bit of that.
Lori, you're with Cham. And Lori, where are your extra suits?
Oh, they're in the EVA area.
Okay. What else do we need?
Well, that leaves me, the medic says. He's like a young medic, and the doctor standing next to him has been sort of quiet. You said there's engines that need to be done?
Yeah.
I can help you with that, the young medic says.
All right, I'll come down and help.
So Wilson kind of steps forward for a second, because, you know, he only caught part of the conversation, and you know, he turns to Lori, because, you know, she's the only other direct Wayland employee that's on the ship right now. So he kind of feels drawn to her, that camaraderie, and feels like he could probably trust her answers a little bit more than the others, and not really addressing everyone around her, just talking to her directly. He looks at her and he asks, or, you know, he says, you know, we saw what happened to the pilot up top, and the logs, you know, made mention of these ruins and these eggs hatching. What happened to you guys down here?
And she sort of is a bit flabbergasted in a way. And she's like, "What do you mean the pilot? What do you mean you saw what happened to the pilot?"
There was this huge hole in her chest. It looked like something had been implanted in her, like a bomb or something, or an explosive, and it just went off.
Where is she? Can I look?
She's still on the bridge. Yeah, no, we just came from there.
I don't understand. And she starts pushing past you and heading towards the bridge. Meanwhile, Cham is like, "Well, look, just send her down to the thing afterwards.
I'll chase after her. I'm gonna go chase after her.
I need to get Rye." And he heads down to the lower area of the ship alone. Flynn and Dr. Cooper approach you, Miller, and they're like, "Okay, well, let's go to the engine room. We'll help."
All right. And as we're walking there, Miller's like, "Listen, obviously something happened on the ship. I don't know if it was before cryo or after cryo, but there are marks from a flamethrower on the... Tell me, what is going on?" The bridge is a mess. There's blood on the walls. Do we need to be worried for our safety right now?
And Flynn is like, "Listen, I don't know. We told you. There were 3 of those things attached to..."
What things?
"These creatures that hatched from the eggs. One got onto Reed, and he died when we tried to take it off, but we put his body into storage. The second one..."
What do you mean, got on to Reed?
"It attached itself to his face. It wouldn't come off. It's tough to explain. We tried to cut it, but it's blood. It was like acid. It burned right through him. It killed him. The second one attached to Pilot, and then the third one attached..." And as he turns to Dr. Cooper, you see Dr. Cooper sort of standing there. Blood begins to sort of drip from his nose. He sort of just stands there with a vacant expression on his face. Flynn arches an eyebrow and he's like, "Dr. Cooper." His eyes sort of begin to bulge a little bit as he starts convulsing and flies back against a wall in the hallway. He starts screaming bloody murder as his shirt begins pulsating. He
Miller
grabs for his
pulls out her
chest,
rifle
and he starts screaming
and shoots him
Wow, where?
in the chest.
Perfect. Yeah, you like coup de grace him. You shoot him directly in the chest, and just blood goes flying everywhere. It just paints the walls in deep red. The shot rings out loud as Johns turns from the area and approaches you. "What the fuck?"
I'm not taking more chances. Let's go.
And he goes to take a swing at you.
The woman with the gun?
Well, he just shot. I mean, well, he's going to try to take the gun from you, I think.
Okay.
So we'll do an opposed. He's not very strong. An opposed strength.
While this is
Are we
going
doing, like,
on,
totals?
Wilson.
I think so. Oh!
Are you kidding? Succeed.
And he only had 2 as well. So he takes the gun from you, and he like takes it from you and butts you with the heel out. And he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And and Flynn is just like kneeling before the doctor, like reaching his hands out, like, oh my god. And yeah, man, like he's freaking out. Sorry, what are you doing, Wilson?
Oh no! As soon as Wilson and Lori, they both got up to the bridge, and I'm gonna. I don't know if it'll be necessary or not. I could do a quick empathy roll, to kind of console Lori, after she sees the pilot.
Yeah, give me a manipulation roll.
You want a full manipulation roll?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Plus the stress dice. There we go. All right. So no stress, and we succeeded.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
All
no,
right, so
she's in.
she's consoled her over the loss of her crewmate. But as soon as we hear the shot, we immediately pivot and start barreling back down the hallway.
You exit to see Miller on the ground with a bloody nose, John standing over with the gun, Flynn kneeling before the dead body of Dr. Cooper, who sits against the wall bathed in blood. And John turns towards you and points the gun and is like, your fucking captain just shot this doctor in cold blood.
Shut the fuck up.
Whoa. Everyone calm down. Everyone just calm down for a second. We don't know what's going on here. And Miller, why?
He was sick. He started writhing. Something came out of his chest, just like the fucking pilot. Sick? I took care of it. Okay.
And Flynn sort of turns and is like, he started convulsing or something. His nose started bleeding, and he started to, I don't know.
You know exactly what was happening.
Okay, no. So at this point, Wilson turns to Lori and he looks at her, kind of, employee to employee, if you will, and he looks at her and he's like, "What was your mission here?"
And she's like, "Our mission was to analyze and find anything that we could and bring it home."
And what did you find?
We've found a number of ruins and egg sacs, creatures that would latch on to people's faces. And
just for reference sake, because I think I mistyped something here, was it the doctor that was shot or the doctor that has the gun?
The doctor was shot. The second in command, Johns, has the gun. There's a medic kneeling before the dead doctor. Flynn is looking towards you, Miller, as you're on the ground. Are you trying to give him like a convincing role, or like what are you trying to do?
Yeah, I mean, I can roll empathy if you like.
I mean, I put it this way. I don't think you're that far away from a convincing argument. I just think going about it in a fuck you way is going to make them be more like
stressed out.
Listen, you're role playing it fantastically. I'm just saying, as a captain, you have probably the tools at your command to make a convincing argument. You do not have to, but like, yeah, you could like bring them in the other room and prove it.
I feel like I've been very rational this whole time. Kind of nice to not be rational for a little bit.
Definitely, but these guys just woke up from hypersleep and you killed their doctor.
Yeah.
They're going to be...
He deserved it.
Well, I'm just letting you know their reaction.
So I'm on the floor, bleeding from the nose because I got butted with the rifle.
Yeah.
So she's just like half propped up on one elbow and breathing heavily. She's like, listen, I did what I had to do so that you would survive, so that I would survive, so that we can get this ship in the air and go home. And I think you know that I made the right decision. And I'm sorry I had to be the one to do it. But I hope I can trust that now you have the gun, you're going to be able to make that same decision.
And as you're saying that, Flynn is like staring at the body of the doctor, and his eyes grow tight as he sort of leans forward amongst the gore in his chest and sees this decimated creature, this pinkish skin, small, pieces of teeth. And he sort of looks towards John and says, I think she's right. I think something was growing inside the doctor. And Lori steps up and says, it's the same thing that burst from the chest of Baines.
Now, can we please work together to get this ship in the air?
And Wilson, at this point, he's kind of like trying to, he's trying to catch Miller's eye. Ultimately failing because she's still focused on the gun, for obvious reasons. But he asked her very, very plainly, very in front of everyone. He's like, Captain Miller, can we talk for a minute?
Yeah.
And kind of motions outside, and presumably Johns would let her to her feet.
Yeah, definitely. And the two of you walk around the corner and have a moment to talk?
I don't know. I mean, we need their help, but I don't know if we can trust them. If something's infected them, then I mean, there's no telling if any one of them could pop at any minute.
What's your professional advice?
I mean, I'm not a doctor. I barely have first aid training, but like, I mean, the common sense thing would be to try to quarantine them off. And I mean, it'll be extra work for us to get the ship off the ground, but I think they're more of a liability at this point.
I don't know. Is there a brig?
No, not on this ship.
Okie doke. Cargo bay would work nicely.
Yeah.
Great. We're not going to easily persuade them into a cargo bay, and they now have the rifle. So, do you have any ideas? Tell them there's cake in cargo bay 1.
I could I don't know. I mean, I can ask Cam if there's a way to override any of these bulkheads and seal them off in a section.
Yes. Yes, do that. Do you have to go to Mother? I'll keep them distracted with some menial task. I'm going to ask them to all go to
the mess hall. They're going to want some food. Have them go to the mess hall.
Yes. I'll take care of the engine, supposedly and factually. You're going to take over the command relay, the communications relay.
John's was going to, yeah.
John's, yeah. So you'll do that for John's. And everyone's had a shake up. Have them all go to the mess hall. Meanwhile, you'll go and have Mother seal off the mess hall. Then we'll get the ship in the air and we'll go home.
Okay, let's do it.
All right.
Perfect. Okay.
So I'm immediately going to pivot and start walking back down the hallway.
Great.
Away from the cryo chambers. It's just a straight shot down and
John's and John's and Lori and Flynn are sort of talking and you are just going to go straight for the engines?
No, I'm going to go straight to them.
To them. Okay.
To convince them to go to the mess hall.
Yeah, and they sort of turn to you and they're all sort of white-faced and shocked.
Okay. First of all, I'm sorry about that. It's a terrible end for anybody. And I didn't know him, but you understand. Recently woke up from cryo sleep myself, and I know that you guys must be feeling like a bucket of shit. You need food. You're not going to be any use to us starving and half dead as you are right now. I'm sorry. Go to mess hall. Hang out there for 10 minutes. I'll take the gun and take care of getting the engine started.
Give me a roll.
Can I command them?
I feel like Wilson should have stuck around for this part.
You can try. I mean, the gun is sort of a stretch. I think getting
Keep
them there
the gun.
would be fine, but yeah.
I have an 8 in command.
Well, give me a try then.
I succeeded with... Oh, I didn't roll any stress, though. Do you
quick side note. Within the structure of Wayu, is Miller viewed as an independent contractor, or would she be the commanding officer at this point, given the captain is dead?
Good question. No, I think she'd be an independent contractor because these people work for Weyland-Yutani. She works like as a contractor for Weyland-Yutani. So I think John's would still be the primary command now on this ship that the captain is supposedly dead.
Okay.
So that was 3 successes?
3 successes.
And no stresses?
And no stresses.
Yeah, fine. He gives you the gun. I think he's just exasperated. He's also very submissive. It's like his character trait. So he's like, okay. And he hands you the gun and they head towards the mess hall.
Great. So for every extra success I roll, they get a modification to their roll when carrying out the orders that I gave them. So if they encounter any difficulty waylaying them from going to the mess hall, they all get bonuses to their die that allow them to continue going to the mess hall, just in case there's any hurdles or like a long jump.
So you begin heading down to the engines, and as you do, you pass a storage locker that's sort of lying open. Inside, there's sort of a matter of objects, like an extra oxygen tank, a motion tracker, because I think Cham took your only one.
I grabbed the motion tracker.
And also like a fuse kit, should you need it.
What's a fuse kit? Oh, I'll take that as also.
Can't use it.
I want
and you
that.
head down to the engine. Wilson, where are you heading?
So I am this while they're talking, I've been walking down the hallway. I get in front of the door to the mother room. And I try at first to use my access card, my Wayland Yutani access card, which should give me access to most things.
It does not work.
Does not work. Okay, so in that case, I'm not even gonna push that. I'm just gonna go ahead and take out that card that I salvaged from the comms terminals.
No, it does work. My apologies.
My access card does let me in. Yes.
Yeah, it does say that. My apologies.
Okay, so I get inside the room, and I hear the door kind of whoosh shut behind me.
Yeah.
And latch into place. And inside there's just a small outcropping of the room where it's just 8 or 9 terminals, 8 or 9 screens stacked on top of one another.
Yeah, it's a spotlessly clean room with a blinking data server, a single terminal that you can interface directly with Mother.
Yes, so I'm gonna sit down at the terminal or stand. I don't know. Maybe they do standing desk.
You can do sit.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna sit down, and I'm gonna pull up the Mother terminal. And first, I want to I just enter some very basic commands to see if she's online and responding to just basic queries. So, just something to enter in to see the operational status of general systems on the ship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, operational status in the ship seems good. Other than the engines and the comm relay, it seems fine.
Okay. And then I want to go ahead and pull up the security protocols on the ship.
Okay.
I know from my training, not just from security but also from engineering, that there are ways to compartmentalize the ship in the event of a security breach, if there's like pirates or something like that. Also, if there's like explosive decompression, they can seal off certain bulkheads. So I want to try to get into the security portion of Mother's programming.
Yeah, no problem. You can do that.
Okay. And once I'm in there, I search around. I find the code needed to shut and lock the doors on the for the mess hall. And in addition to that, I want to go ahead and open up a listening comms channel to pick up on any conversations or dialogue that I can hear throughout the rest of the ship.
Great idea.
Yeah, both happen.
Okay.
And you turn it on and lock the mess hall just as Joe, you arrive, or I should say Miller, you arrive on C deck.
Mm-hmm.
You've taken the approach to junction C, C2, the back of the ship, which leads directly to the reactor core area that you need to be in. And as you leave junction C2 and begin heading down the hall, nothing. You begin moving down the hall. You enter the reactor relay and control room. The only light here coming from an open access port on the reactor relay. It glows a dull pale blue, casting long, deep shadows. It looks like something in here has sort of made almost like a nest.
Ooh.
The walls are lined with an organic material that looks almost like bone, blackened bone.
So sitting at the mother terminal, would it be safe to presume that mother has the same internal scanning capabilities that the handheld scanners would have, but she would have it kind of cooked into the systems of the ship?
Yeah, she would have movement.
Okay.
Is my handheld motion detector reading anything?
It's not picking up anything.
All right. I'm grossed out by this development, but I'm going to try to brush past any aversion to touching this as I make my way to the console and try to fucking turn everything on.
As you enter the reactor room, you notice this yellow white substance, almost like a resin, covering the terminal as well as the reactor chamber. It seems like it's the reason the reactor is not working the way it should be. Doesn't look difficult to clean, and you can feel that the engines are resonating heat. Before even the ship turned on, it seemed like this area was resonating this sort of radiated heat.
Nest. Fucking nest.
I'd like to go ahead and throw an observation roll to see if I pick up anything on the monitors.
Sure. You don't have visual in this room, but you have you have the comms you can listen to, and you have movement.
The movement. Yeah.
Well, I'll just tell you, nothing's moving and nothing's... You can hear her saying that, maybe.
Okay, so I can hear her talking, but I can't there's no cameras in there. I can't see the room. But nothing's moving besides I see her moving and can clearly identify as that being her.
So, do I have the impression that this is something that could be cleaned off with, say, a blowtorch?
Sure. I mean, it wouldn't take much to clean it off. I mean,
I just don't want to fucking touch it.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Is there like
roll of paper towels and some Windex?
A wall pole that I can...
Definitely a cleaning wall pole.
Good. I utilize that.
No, there's like some... Yeah, I mean, there's a storage closet just outside the room that you can grab
Great.
some stuff.
I grab a nice, sturdy-looking broom.
Okay.
Such as you would find on a spacecraft.
You approach the terminal and start cleaning then? Yeah, you can... Oops. As you begin cleaning the room, you hear a whoop, boop, 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 boop.
I look down at my motion detector.
And you can see that to your right, there's movement.
To my right, meaning out toward the coolant tank or toward the reactor?
Towards the wall that you're standing next to. You turn to notice that the blackened bone-like wall is starting to move slightly.
I take a step back.
Dim light, you see this creature that's been holed up, hibernating here for years, huddled by the warmth of this reactor, pressed up against the wall. It moves down in almost a snake-like fashion, its long bone-like tail ended with a sharp pierce. It has an elongated head, its skull black and glistening wet. It steps down and hisses dimly in the darkness. Give me a mobility roll.
Okay. I have a 4 in mobility. So I'm just going to explain how we use the system in the last 5 minutes of the game. I'm going to roll 4 mobility with my 1, 2, 3 stress die.
You're going to roll 4 stress. You're going to get another stress.
Well, I succeed twice.
Well, let's see if that last one makes you panic. Did you get another stress by seeing this,
Nope.
Of course? Oh, you're lucky. Yeah, so you don't move as this creature sort of breathes the air and leans forward. You can see the clear saliva dripping from its gaping maw on the console, on the reactor floor. It leans towards you as you crouch against the wall, trying desperately not to move. It sort of runs the length of its jaw along your face and down to the nape of your neck before sliding back. And then you hear a slam from outside. Cham, who repairs the RV down in the cargo hold below you, it turns towards the door and skulks out of the room as the soft pinging fades. Boom, boom, boom.
A bead of sweat rolls down my face. I'm just pressed against the wall. I can stunt.
Yeah.
I'm going to give give one stunt to another PC in the same situation as you.
Ooh.
Give one success to another PC in the same situation as you. So
you'll get Wilson, you'll
Tim,
get a
if you
success.
need a success, you got one.
Okay. Is that success? Is that success only in the
Only
the
pertaining
area where
to motility.
mobility? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
What do you do, Miller?
She doesn't know that she can be heard. So she's not going to be conveying any messages. She's just going to fucking... my God. I'm not going to seal myself in this death room. I have to clean fast. I clean very fast.
Okay. So you begin cleaning the terminal. Wilson, you see the moving from the reactor. Very normal. It moves down to D deck, joining.
But he also still sees my dot.
Well, you're not moving.
Yeah, I am. I'm cleaning very fast.
That's not. Moving's like in the room, like back and forth.
Oh, I'm moving.
So I see the movement go down the hallway, and presumably I only see the one thing moving. I am hearing some really strange growling noises coming across the intercom, but I'm internally just kind of chalking that up to something in the comm
Miller
system
being
isn't.
angry.
Yes.
They're pretty quiet actually. It's like climbing along the ceiling.
So I'm presuming that I punched a 2 instead of a 7 when I brought the comm systems back up, and there's some wire cross somewhere that's shorting out. But I see it moving down towards the cargo deck.
And you see it approach Cham, who's moving around the RV in the deck D.
Oh. Before I forget, because I didn't actually lock earlier, I want to go ahead and make sure that we execute that command to lock the
mess hall.
Lock the mess hall down.
Oh yeah, for sure. You're locked down.
And above and beyond that, I want to, I don't know if I need a comm tech roll for this, but I want to try to override any of the protocols that would allow the commanding officer to just open it right back up.
No, you're good. They're locked down in the mess.
We got bigger problems, my friend.
Cham is working on the RV. He's sort of circling it. Movement from the corner. He turns around. Miller, he calls out. No answer, just the clinking of chains high above. He sort of shakes his head. Clayton? Still nothing. He turns back to the RV, takes off the tire and drills on a new one. Suddenly there's a rustling behind him. A can knocked over. He turns around nervously, turning his light back on. Who's there? Cham's starting to get a bit nervous. He sort of wipes the sweat from the brow, realizing it's behind a helmet. His head, and walks around the side. Behind him, a tail rises. Slowly, silently. Nervously, he turns around to see the creature hulking above him. It hisses as it reels back, ready to bite him. He tries to dodge out of the way at the last minute. And there's only one blip at deck C. A blip that moves fast to the elevator shaft. Wilson, the blip seems to be climbing the elevator faster than you thought Cham could towards your area. You hear something. It's a banging. You turn on the comms and you realize that the mess hall realizes they're locked in there and they are making a racket. Banging on the door, screaming bloody murder for you to let them out.
So I'm going to go ahead and turn the comms back on so that it's not just listen. I want to address the ship, the ship wide communication.
Yep.
And just tell them, to the crew of the Kronos, you are all very, very upset right now, understandably. You have to understand that we've seen something come out of you guys, something come out of your chest twice now, and we can't take that chance. We can't rely on us being safe around you, and we need to keep you guys we need to keep you guys quarantined. We need to keep you quarantined until we can figure out what's going on. It looks like you guys have been infected by something.
So they can't really react. They're just banging and banging. And as you see, you flip on the visual monitor for the mess hall has it. And you see a dent sort of smack in from the outside of the door. And they all sort of stand back. And they sort of curiously don't understand. They look back up to the monitor as if expecting something. And you see a dent again. This time you see a black sort of spike sticking through it. And
what the hell?
As you watch, you see the dent grow and grow and grow, and they begin to freak out. You see Flynn run over and slap the lights, and the entire room is bathed in darkness.
Miller, Cam, you guys need to get back to the mess hall now.
Miller, you're finished cleaning the engines. They need to be booted up from the bridge as you hear his voice come through the comms.
Well, Wilson, if you can hear me, you can boot up the engines now. There's something... Oh my god. It was huge. It's loose on the ship. I don't think it can see you if you stay still. I'm coming. Meet me at the bridge.
Before you can even turn on the engines yourself, they fire on. You can see the program before you, Mother, basically running a return to Earth protocol, completely on her own. You can hear the engines growl and roar as the ship begins to lift off from the planet's surface.
Oh God. Wilson, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
There's something in the ship.
Wilson, you're sitting in Mother's sort of room. What are you doing?
So I'm still watching very intently everything that's happening with the mess hall. I can see the well, no, I guess I can't now because the lights went out and it's just completely black. Now. Do I hear anything coming off of the comms in the mess hall?
Yeah, your screams like bloody. In fact, so visceral and so disturbing that you ended up muting it and you're just freaking out in the room.
And do any of the other monitors give me any kind of information to kind of tell me what's going on here other than just the comm system and potentially the motion tracking?
Are you flipping through like every room in the building type thing?
Let's presume that let's presume that at this point I'm talking to Miller, but I have not heard from Cam, so I'm trying to figure out where he's at.
You don't see anything, but as you're flicking through, you stop on Cargo Bay 2, and you see a body, 5 years old at least, with a torn sternum, the body of Reed that was killed, and they moved to the storage. Obviously, the alien hatched nonetheless and broke itself out, and it had been hiding in the ship. And then you flip to Cargo 1, and you see not one, not two, but maybe 5 6, 7 eggs, all sitting, waiting in a fine mist of smoke within the storage center of the cargo. The
Miller,
ship
I don't know
is
if you can hear me, but you need to get out of there right now.
The ship breaks through the atmosphere as you can feel it rumbling and returning to Earth. Miller, you are pouring through the underhalls of Sea Deck. Where are you heading?
Miller is running as silently as she can manage. So from the reactor relay control, she heads up between the coolant tank and junction C2 junction C2's staircase, looks like.
Yep.
Up to deck B, B2. That's the science sector.
Yep.
So she's going to open the door into the hallway of the science sector. She's like looking both ways.
The lights are flashing and flickering. A thin mist is sort of like coasting across the ground.
Of course it is.
As you limp into the room, you hear like a hissing burst from a pipe next to your face as you are moving through the misty smoke.
Flinches and is like, why am I limping?
Just because it's cool.
Okay, so I'm limping. My hair is hanging half out of my bun, like sweaty on my face. Just running, fucking, like all of this crazy 80s sci-fi shit going past me.
Yeah.
Like blue light, red light, blue light, red light.
And
She's going through the living area.
You hear movement in the room next to you down the tight hallway towards the mess hall area.
And she stops.
Hear the cackling or the like sort of guttural of the
trill,
creatures. Yeah.
alien trill.
As it sort of leans out from the door and thumps past the area you just were standing. You sort of press yourself up against the mist-covered wall, and the creature skulks back and forth.
She waits for like 15 seconds longer than necessary because she's just willing herself to move. Move. Miller, move. And she goes.
Wilson, are you still just in the mother area?
I am right now, but I don't know what's down there. I don't know what's chasing Miller. I don't know why Cam's not answering. I don't know what just happened to everyone in the mess hall. My current thinking is that I need to get out of here and I need to get to the bridge, and I need to seal that bridge off until I know that I'm safe.
Yeah.
So I would say I'd probably get up from the terminal and start working my way back down that hallway and coming around the corner to where junction A1 is.
Yeah, and as you swing around to junction A1, you see the emergency lighting, the dim sort of red pulsating light of the area below you as you descend down into junction B1. You hear movement as you put your feet down onto B deck. This entire floor feels like this stench of iron is in the air from the blood. You're sort of on either side, vestibule 2 and vestibule 1, but you hear a heavy thumping coming from the living area corridor. Seems to be walking up and down the area between the bridge and the living area.
Is that on the vestibule 2 side or the vestibule 1 side?
Can't tell. We can roll for it.
Yeah, let me roll for that. I'll do an observation roll for that to see if I can get a better handle on where that sound is coming from. Because I don't want to just jump right into it, but at the same time, I need to know which way I'm going.
No,
So
for sure.
let's do this. Okay, so pass and no panic.
Nice. Yeah, so you can hear it sort of from vestibule 1 area.
Okay. So I'd like to, I mean, I'm almost paralyzed with fear, but I know that I have to get to the bridge. And so I'd come out the junction on the north side of B1, and I know the bridge is just right across the way. All I need to do is swipe my card and I'm in. So very quietly kind of lean out into the hallway and kind of look left and right, trying to see if I hear anything coming closer, and take 2 or 3 steps and push my access card up against the wall.
And it opens. And just as it opens, you feel something at your back, and you spin around to see Miller limping, holding the gun behind you.
Jesus Christ, Miller, you scared the hell out of me. Get in here.
And the two of you pour in, and the door shuts behind you as you hear the creature skulking from behind.
What is that?
There's a ship full of them.
What a ship full of what? What's making those? What happened to everyone in the mess hall?
8
Everything
feet
just
tall.
went dark and I heard screams.
Long tail. Huge face. Black carapace. So threatening. Wilson, we can't.
Can't what?
We can't go home.
We have to go home. We can't stay here.
The bridge is navigating back to Earth. The hollow display table is now sort of back in full effect that the engines are.
No.
You see the trajectory towards Earth.
She's got the gun leveled at Wilson. I don't know about you, but I have a family back home. I have a little girl. No
So I'd
fucking
like to,
way. What would you like to do?
I'd like to try for a manipulation roll. I want to try to talk some sense into Miller. Wilson understands this is nobody knows really what's happening. This is high stress high stress, high intensity. So
yeah. Give me what you say to her in a roll.
Let's see here. Manipulation at an 8. Oof. And that is a success with a panic.
Oh, that's good. What's the panic?
Okay, let's see here.
I'm gonna say you're at 4 stress too.
Okay, so that puts me at a 6. So I'm on edge because the gun's being pointed right at my face.
Yeah.
How do you manipulate me?
Yeah. But I turn over as Miller. Okay, so we can't do anything about this here. We don't have enough weapons. We don't have enough people. We don't have anything. The only thing that we have right now is this ship and getting us back home, and we can get it into orbit, and the colonial marines can come in and deal with whatever that is that's out there. But I'm not going to be stuck on this damn planet and die to whatever that is that's out there that's chasing us down. We need to get back home now.
You hear the door behind you sort of buckle with a smack.
You think we're going to get back home?
Again, there's another smash against it.
There's no way. There's no way.
We have access to all the ship's controls on the bridge, correct?
You have access to them, yes.
Miller, what if we open up the airlock?
How do we get home?
I mean, the ship will continue flying itself. We open up the airlock, that should suck out the life support from everything else in the ship. The bridge is sealed.
You see the small black tip of the creature's tail breaking through the door behind you. A hole has been made.
No. No, it ends here. Do you want help?
So Wilson's sitting here trying to process the situation. He knows something outside that door is trying to kill him. He also knows that his captain right in front of him is trying to kill him. And I would say right now he's pretty well frozen in place. There's just a cloud of indecision hanging over the top of him.
I would like to shoot my gun at Wilson.
Okay.
I suppose that's ranged combat.
Sure.
That's two successes and 2 panics.
So you're like freaking out. I'm gonna say you fire and like wound him.
So can I throw a mobility on that one?
Oh, you want to
try to dodge?
Sure. Yep. I'm gonna say you get hit because it's cool, but like,
sure,
you're fine. You're like, and you like lean, and your like blood is splayed on the hollow table.
And my panic roll indicates that I drop my item.
Oh, perfect.
So I drop the gun
as the creature bangs on the door behind you. The metal is like splintering.
I turn around to watch it come for me as I drop the gun.
Yeah, and it's like clawing through. It's still pushing. But you back up and standing next to the man you just shot at the hollow table. The gun line between you.
I'm sorry.
So that was a success. So we said I was hit. Did we make a determination as to where?
Wherever you want. Nowhere. It doesn't have to be vital.
We'll say shoulder.
Sure. You get smacked in the shoulder, spin around. The creature is pushing through. The ship is now breaking into the atmosphere. What do you do, Wilson? You can be. Sure.
Okay. So after getting shot, spun around, get up, start to rise up from the floor.
That Wilson, after shooting him, he spins around. The blood that paints the hollow display table behind him isn't red. It's actually white. And he stands up with sort of a bizarre, strange look in his eye.
Fucking android!
Wilson, what do you say?
So Wilson spun around. As far as he can tell, that he's had no major systems damaged. And he rises to his feet and walks over, very calmly, with a very nicely paced candor. And he reaches down and he picks up the rifle.
Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
As the creature is still pushing its way in, it's almost completely climbed in. You pick up the gun.
You knew all along, didn't you?
I was given my orders just like you were given yours, okay? Waylon wants to see these things. Waylon wants these things back on Earth so they can study them. You have no idea how valuable these things are.
More valuable than life. Do it.
And with that, I raise the gun and I shoot towards the doorway.
Oh.
Okay. And yeah, you shoot the creature. It screeches and reels away from the door.
And I look back to Miller and said, "Don't think that just because I don't value life the same way you do doesn't mean I don't value it at all."
Double twist.
Double, triple.
So, I'm going to epilogue this.
Do it.
Wilson at gunpoint brings Miller to the cryo chamber, puts her under, and freezes her for their arrival home. Locking himself in the chamber with her, the ship continues its course back to Earth, carrying with it not only the xenomorph, but the many eggs that are brought from the home planet, having completed his job. The end. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Aliens Reverence.
My God, you stole the life suit from my BFF just because you wanted to stay Sneaky robot.
Oh, he's so mean. He killed everybody.
That
Ladies
was
and gentlemen,
awesome.
I hope you guys enjoyed this. We went way over time, so it's going to be a quick close because I'm tired and I work early. Thank you so much. This was a blast. I really enjoy this role-playing system. We're definitely going to have to crack it out again for a longer form campaign because there's so much rich story here. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much to Mr. Tim Tate for hanging out with us tonight.
Oh, no, guys. Thank you. From all of us at RetroFizz, thank you guys at the Invictus stream. I had a blast. I'm sorry. When it came down to it, I just didn't have the heart, both figuratively and literally. And I couldn't kill Miller. I just couldn't do it.
It's
just,
all good. It worked out.
But
the android with the heart. There's always every alien movie has like good android, bad android, good android, bad android. So you went both.
Yeah.
Good and bad.
Yeah.
You did an amazing job, Tim.
Did a wonderful
Thank you
job.
so much. I had an absolute blast, and thank you everyone in chat. I've been reading your chat throughout the evening, and you guys are
It's always a
fantastic.
blast.
And
we're gonna
I love your faces.
We're gonna give Endgame XP to. There were some pretty good ones tonight.
Yeah, some really good ones.
Anyone jump out to you, Tim? Was particularly fun or funny or?
Fuck. I mean, I always love seeing Dustin in the chat.
Yeah, let's do Dustin.
Yay!
Our boy
Dustin!
He's the original. Ladies and gentlemen, hope you have a wonderful night, a great weekend, and as my gal Jo always likes to say,
It's my bedtime.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Bye.